Peace, peace, peace. What's happening? What's happening? My name is OE Sun, Team Taurus, Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight we getting ready to go in with these superhuman activation, superhero activation with the teaching plants and the sacred fungi. We could have called this a whole bunch of other stuff, but this is what we're rolling with tonight. Thank y'all so much. Somebody says there's no sound. Make sure mic check everybody. How y'all hear us? Because I think my sound is popping. How we feeling over here? Dooley, give me a mic check.
Yo, peace.
Yeah, if y'all
What's
can
going
give us a
on,
mic
y'all?
check on a scale of 1 to 10, drop that on the mic, drop that in the chat room for us. 1 if you can't hear us, or 0. Okay, boom. Kiki says she can hear. We in the building then. It's time to go. What up, Blue Waters? Everybody, please press 2 if you shared this video. Um, you can go ahead and expect some heat this evening. That is a fact on top of a fact. What up, Lisa Rodriguez, Angela Bennett? What up, Growing is Knowing? If you're here, please drop your team zodiac, what city and state you are in, because we definitely want to give you a shout out, a shizzy shout out today. Yeah, let's get the mic in place like I want it. All right. Dooley, how you feeling, King? Where you at, man? Give us your zodiac sign and what city and state you in.
Yo, this is Team Pisces, you know what I mean? My birthday was just what? Was it 20th? Still celebrating. You know what I mean? From the bean, from the bean town. You know.
Beantown in the building. Beantown is in the building.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah. What up, Kiki? Team Taurus in Alabama, Team Taurus in Texas, Team Sag, Carlisle, how you feeling? Team Atlanta, Capricorn Sun. What it do? What it do? How y'all feeling? Thanks for pressing 2 and sharing this. That's right. Jasmine is not on tonight, but you got 2 God Kings on here this evening about to give y'all some work. He rolling with the Smurfs, which is the mushrooms. I'm rolling with God,
Ah,
which is
you
the
already know.
mushrooms.
And you
Yeah.
see, like you see the back.
Oh, and he gets cut out. He has to come back. Come back, Dooley. Something happened, but it's okay. We'll get him we'll get him right back up in here. Renee Palmer, Team Aries, Youngtowns, Ohio. What up, Team Gemini in Jersey, Team Aries in Orlando, Team Capricorn in Texas. What's happening? Thanks, Katrina, for showing us mad love and sharing this. How many of y'all ever done some type of
Yeah. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
yeah, you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you was doing a lot there. You was doing a lot there. You was doing a lot.
I was trying to show y'all the back the shirt with the Smurf on the mushroom there. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah. Where?
Yeah, well, God, you called me this morning, man. All excited about this, man, and
Oh, hell yeah.
a whole lot of things been going on. I definitely been hearing your name out here in these streets, for doing ceremonies up there with my sister Tamaris up in the Beantown.
Oh,
I see, I see
yeah.
I see Cambridge, Mass. Just passed a decriminalized nature up there around
Oh, yeah.
Harvard and MIT. So y'all getting ready to have doorways like wide open.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. Because I'm like, okay, now we don't gotta go so much on the underground. We still doing our thing, but just having Cambridge go hard with that, and that's a victory right there. So Boston's next. You already know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. How far is Cambridge from Beantown?
Well, from where I'm at right now, I say about good 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Not that far at all.
Oh,
You know what I
Cambridge
mean?
is right
So
outside of Boston.
yeah, it's not that far. You know what I mean? So it's
Oh,
right there. You know, that's what make Boston so interesting, man, because you have so many different coaches that come to this city. You know what I mean? They're all coming to get their education. You know what I mean? So it's always that type of flavor here. We have people that come from around the world, so we attract that type of energy. So, you got MIT up the street, dealing with the robotics over there, you know what I mean? So they dealing with some AI on some next shit over here,
hmm
you know what I mean? So
hmm
yeah, definitely.
So
One of
somebody just. Oh yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna get to that piece
yeah,
right there. I
yeah,
want
we
to
good.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Show me that right there,
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
Tell the
yeah.
people what we got.
I'm just getting busy, man. I do art, I do all that. I'm an illustrator, man. I'm gonna be working on this metaphysical comic, coming out, this graphic novel soon, you know what I mean? Barbara Kalendi was always bigging up the comics, you know what I mean, the Marvel and all that. And
Right.
I remember when he first came here to my pad, man, I had my big library over here. The first thing he grabbed was a Doctor Strange comic book over here. So I had to go joint. You know, he leads through all these joints. He's like, yo, listen, man. He say, me see the Doctor Strange joint.
Off the
Word,
gate. Off the gate.
word.
So I know that, and you did that on cardboard.
On cardboard with crayons and markers, you know what I mean? And you let me let y'all see that again, you know what I mean? Because it's just to let you know
You got to
I
move
do
your
it
finger.
purposely like that,
You
you
got to
know.
move your finger. You had your
Okay, let me
finger
move the
covering the
finger out
joint.
the way. Um, you know, but I do it purposely, everything like that, just to let people know where it come from. You know, it
Right.
comes from the streets, you know what I mean? So but I got inspired by that piece because it was a tantric book. I don't know if y'all know that old school joint. Remember, it's the one that got the red stamp on it. You know what I mean? Oh, I know you know. It's a
Hold
classic
on. Describe
tantric
it.
book. It's like a vanilla type color on the cover, but it's like a stamp, like sexual. I think it's called Sexual Secrets. But
Oh,
it's a
okay.
tantric book that I seen back in the day with my father, you know, from his library. And I looked at it and I was like, man, I just got inspired by the artwork in there, man, to really
Mm,
see that balance between the masculine and divine feminine within each individual. You know what I mean? And
mm,
Baba was big on that. You know what I mean? Talking about, you know, when you look at it, you know, you and your partner, y'all form as one. You know what I
mm,
mean? And
mm.
y'all go through the cosmos together. You know what I mean? On a psychedelic journey. So that's a beautiful thing right there. You know?
Word. So you was also saying about how there's like Terrence Gray. I mean, Alex Gray has his stuff.
Influence.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. I used to see that because my father used to take me to a metaphysical bookstore with
Mm-hmm.
called Seven Stars when I was a little one, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
every Saturday that was the thing. And that was in Harvard over there, you know what I mean, in Cambridge, you know what I mean? So I used to be bored out of my mind. So the only thing that attracted me was the crystals there, you know what I mean? So I would little shorty just sitting in the crystals, but occasionally I would see things that had like pictures in them, like Alex Gray. You know what I mean? And I seen that and I was like, yo, this dude's artwork is crazy. You know what I mean? And it's like you have X-ray vision glasses on and you could see the whole anatomy system and everything and the chakras and everything. So
Mm.
that really inspired me. And I'm like, as an artist myself, I'm like, more melanated people need to get in that visionary game. You know what I mean? Like this right here, this is one of my joints I seen that I really like a lot. This tapestry, and I seen that I think it was on eBay or whatever, but you know I had to grab it up because it brought me back to some of my visionary experiences that I have with the mushrooms or sempage or iboga or any of these type of things that you know I've sat with over the years. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, man. So I think that's dope. Really, if the artist could really tap in, bring some of those experiences back and try to like, because sometimes you can't even articulate some of the experiences that sometimes we go through on the other side. So like that's where the art comes in. That's where the sacred geometry and all that comes in.
For
And
those, hold on.
yeah,
For those who just got on and they just like, well, who is these two dudes when they talking? Well, what we got in common is not just love for the people, but this brother right here. So you know what
right.
I'm saying.
Brother Barber.
Me and Dooley, like we around and y'all want to check us, but if you really want to get the inside scoop, you just want to go
Right,
type in Kalendi Iyi here on YouTube, right? You actually, yep. So it don't matter whether you want some of these martial arts, if you want to get some of that.
right. Yeah,
Baba Mudu over in the UK at the Breaking Convention. I mean, just tons and tons and tons. I don't know how these other. Let's put mushrooms behind it, and then you will shut it down. There you go.
right,
Put
right.
Kalendi EE mushrooms behind it. Look how Jokers is trying to use. Somebody came now, obviously, and they put Kalendi's tag in here to make Dr. Oz come up at the top, and and he's nowhere near Baba Kalendi in his research or any of that. All of his stuff is just field study and probably some recreational use. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But for those of you all who want to dig a little deeper into it, please, please, please type in Kalendi EE mushrooms, or you definitely can go over to Blog Talk Radio, and those were the last 13 podcasts that he had done as far as like at length. So just type
Hmm.
in Blog Talk Radio Kalendi, and he had his own Blog Talk Radio, but he was also on, yeah, he was on mine. So Story of the Magic Mushroom was episode 1, and then he also had his own network as well. Let me pause that. Yeah. So you can just type in the Story of the Magic Mushroom, Blog Talk Radio. That was episode 1. And then Baba Kalenda, he also had his own channel, Entheogenic Explorer. He has some crazy episodes on here with Peter Andreas about the Yi Ming Zhu and Thanos. He also had Rob Henson, comic book master, talking about the Black Panther. So please do your due diligence, dig in. If you just go to Coach Khayr and start going backwards, you'll see, boom, psilocybin mushroom. Should you grow your own? Then we have transcendental travel, life after death, becoming an ancestor, a leader, artificial intelligence, infinity wars. Did the gods arrive on a comet? So we just want to big up our local ancestor, sex, relationships, tantra, and the importance of spiritual houses. This one was crazy. The Secrets of the Metu Netter, episode 5. So a lot of y'all out here still thinking about, oh, Terrence McKenna, oh, and 3 grams in the hero's dose. Well, if the hero's dose is 5 grams, what is 7 grams, Dooley? What is 10 grams? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, they used to say the hero's dose was with Terrence McKenna, which a lot of people are familiar with that dude. A lot of people that want to research about psychedelics and stuff. He was doing his thing for his time. But I listened to something. I never really listened to that dude like that, tell you the
Right,
truth. But I heard heard one of his snippets the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, if somebody even do like 9 grams or something, that's way over the edge or whatever." And I'm laughing to myself, like, "Yo, this dude, yo, you know." But you see the time. You have to understand there's certain things like culture. You have to
right.
take into consideration the gift of melanin. All these type of things that play part within the psychedelic experience. You know what I mean? But we're looking at an upgrade. We're looking at a different time. Um, so you know what I mean? It's like my highest. I mean, Kalendi was the person that had me to go up in my dosage. You know what I mean? And I was rocking first time I took mushrooms, I was rocking 5 grams. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm,
And I
mm.
was like, boom, that was deep. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to go in again. You know what I mean? And I want to go in harder next time. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, listen, some shit came up. I got to figure out what the fuck that was about. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm going into seclusion the next time, and that was just a whole nother story. But the most I've taken in one sitting so far is 31 grams.
Ooh,
You
good
know,
Lord.
another time, yeah, another time which was off the banger was like I took you, and you have to understand they have certain mushrooms that are more potent than others.
Yes, yes,
When
yes.
certain people say, "Yo, okay, I rock with golden teachers, or rock with B pluses or blue meanies or whatever," these are common things that usually you see people talking about they take, right? But then you start dealing with other mushrooms that are like much more potent in psilocybin, So you deal with things like penis envy, for instance, which is very potent. You know what I mean? So I remember one time I took in one sitting 15 grams of the PEs, of the penis envy, and then on top of that, I threw down 10 more grams of golden teachers with it.
Mm.
So all in all, that was like 25. But when you add on to the potency of PEs, that's like double. So you're looking like at a equivalent like a 40-gram experience. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
I be debating that, man, whether you can. I don't think you can just be like all PEs ain't the same. I don't think you can just come out and say all double. Now, time and a half, I give you that. Like I say, like a
now,
three and
now
a half.
I have to say, from eating different mushrooms over the years, them are one of my top champions. Them and I definitely like B pluses. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
people could say they have different experiences. Like some are more visionary, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
more that some of them more are auditory, right? So you have, and then you have more that more feely, right? But
Mm.
on the scale for me, on the level of a PE, it's on that tip where it gives you some real visionary, auditory, and feely at the same time. So I got massive downloads on that as a champion on the top of my books because it was like the level of information that a
Mm.
brother was able to receive
Mm.
in one night was off the chain. Was
Mm-hmm.
beyond. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about galactic information where I could say without a shadow of a doubt that I was there. Right in right there, if we want to call it Star Wars or whatever, you know what I mean? It was front row seat.
Dooley, you gotta
And
move where it's got more light
yeah,
on your face. You need more light on
yeah,
your face because
okay.
you got to
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
where the
yeah.
light is behind
Okay.
the camera.
Yeah, okay.
Right there
Yeah.
we go.
So, you know what I mean? So yeah, that those were things that you can't take back. You know, this like the beautiful time that we're in is that we're learning a new way of teaching and learning. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a very interesting time because I'll give you an example. I don't know the name of this sci-fi movie. It came out recently, but the dude was basically in a machine where
Mm-hmm.
his consciousness was able to be in this type of other world or whatever, and he was doing his thing. Very similar to the Matrix, but I had a similar experience recently. You know what I mean? And I'm microdosing, you know? So I'm sweeping the floor, and next thing I know, I'm in this realm, right?
Mm.
And
Talk
I
about
tell you, man, you know, I wasn't gonna really let the family, I wasn't gonna come out publicly and tell this experience, but I had an elder that said, listen, if you have these experiences, people can learn from it. You need to let it be known.
it. Right.
And this is this. So I said, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm in this realm, and next thing I know, I see Baba Kalendi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And next thing he know, it's like I'm in a martial arts class with the elder, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going through it. People in the
Tomorrow.
Timerian Institute, they already
Mm-hmm.
know the move, like the circular move. He's showing me this,
Right.
and as literally my eyes are closed, I'm doing it in the room there. You know, I'm like in real time, and he's like, "What does this move do?" I was like, "You
Mm.
block your face with that." He's like,
Mm.
"And what do you do from here?" And he's like, me being me, you know what I mean? I have that jokester energy that walk with me sometimes, that leg bar, you know what I mean? Issue right here. So I'm like, he's like, Dooley, pay attention, you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, you know? So I was going through this with him for a couple of minutes. And then it was a level where at a point where I was automatically, the class was over. And I went into this bow to each direction. And I
Mm.
seen these old African looking ancestors in each direction that had these elaborate geometrical shit around their head.
Mm.
My eyes was closed when I looked towards I think it was the west. I seen Baba Kalendi, but before when we was training, he had like a white gi on or what have you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
His clothing, his clothing is changing and all that. When I looked, when I was bowing and towards the west, I believe it. He was on a throne, you know, a celestial type of throne. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It was a deep experience. You know what I mean? And what that showed me at that moment is that as we know, when a person passes away, they're not gone. You know what I mean? But to have direct access to these loved ones that we hold cherished to, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I
Mm.
mean? It's a beautiful thing, bro. You know what I mean? Because bell rang in the other room when I was thinking about that. Somebody get the door for me, please. But the only thing I could say is this: is that sometimes we've been so trained and brainwashed in a Western way of thinking that it's kind of hard to imagine certain things of these magnitude that we could do these things. And I'll give you an example. When I first had my first ayahuasca experience, and my children's mother was there, I remember she was having a hard time. She was going through it. You know what I mean? And sometimes this happens when you're on the medicine sometimes. You know what I mean? No matter if it's mushrooms or ayahuasca or other type of medicine sometimes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the things that you buried under the rug or the trauma that you might have been holding on to, you know, will unravel sometimes during dealing with these sacred medicines. So
More
I
often than
seen,
not. So
I
Dooley says
seen,
sometimes. I just want to let y'all know more
yeah,
often than not. Not every now and then, but more often than not. That's gonna
yes,
come
I
up.
agree.
Go
I
ahead.
agree, brother.
Continue.
I totally agree with that. And I remember I seen her going through it, and I never met her actual physical grandmother. I used to see pictures of her, but
Mhm.
I seen a spirit that came in the room that looked like her grandmother. She hovered around Sister Yo-Yo, and I seen her look like she got calm after that, after her grandma hovered over her. After we came down from the medicine, Mama Aya, you know what I mean? We're sharing each other's experience. We like, okay, boom, boom, boom. This is what I went through. This is what you went through. I didn't even tell her about her grandmother, what I seen. She said, by the way, my grandmother came visit me. I was going through this and that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So sometimes we have to have these experiences, man. And sometimes it's like, even as a scientist, you know, in certain ways, because we come from very Western, they very left brain type of school systems. They're like, oh, well, how can you prove that this is real? You know what I mean? How do you know this is just something of your imagination, or y'all are taking something that's a hallucinogen? So you're hallucinating. No, no, not at all. Not at all. You know what I mean? There's people there to validate certain situations. When you have a whole collective that went through the same experience, you're going to tell, wait, all of us are hallucinating here? No, you
Non-cypher.
know? So what I'm seeing here, man, is a beautiful thing, is because you first can't be scary. You can't be on that scary mode. You know what I mean? We got too many of us. We got indoctrinated through the church, the mosque, the synagogue, whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. You know, those churches and those systems had a place for it, for our people when we was going through our hardships. But when we deal with going beyond elementary and starting to step the game up more, then we have to go beyond the scary mode and say, okay, I'm gonna go into uncomfortable places because that's gonna open up some gifts in me.
So boom, hold on,
You
pause
know what I
right
mean?
there. Hold on. Let
Yeah.
me add this. So, so I have a space here in Atlanta, the Gin room, where I'm holding space right now. You got to come down here. We need to get on several things. We need to do some hape, some bufo,
All that,
and
man.
some
I just did
mushrooms.
some hape before I jumped on here, man. You know what I mean?
So
I'm breathing better than a motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? That shit. Listen, when people
hold
deal
on,
with
hold
that
on,
damn
hold on. Let me
corona
finish.
shit, yeah,
Hold on.
my people, yeah,
Pause. So
my bad.
when we so I have therapists that come in to do pre-integration. And one of the things but they are licensed clinical therapists who have also done ayahuasca, mushrooms,
Right,
and toad. So they got the
right,
paperwork and they got the real experience, which is what the KI network is about, pulling
right,
professionals together and those of us who have been underground for a long time,
right,
actually who are citizen scientists, as
right.
Baba Mudu calls it. But one of the things that you just said we tell everybody before the journey is you're going to have to figure out how to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. You best
And
believe that, buddy.
the
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but as Dooley said, the uncomfortable is coming because it needs to. Look at the
You gotta
title.
you gotta release that shit.
Now it's to activate your superhero. See,
It
all
will
of
be
y'all got a
yes.
superhero. All of us
Mm-hmm.
got superheroes
Mm-hmm.
laying in us dormant, and it's not
Go
gonna
in.
just come in and just you rub it, and
Right.
you're a
Right.
superhero just gonna be like, oh, okay. Most of the time, when you look at all the comic books, all the cartoons, all the movies,
Right.
something volatile must happen in order for the superhero or the superpower to wake up and come all the way to the forefront. Now I'm gonna
Right.
pass it back to Dooley.
And
Yes.
that goes back to ancient mythology right there. Because if you look at it, do you look at the word shaman? That comes from the Tungus people. You know, you're dealing with Siberia right there. And they
Right.
will all tell you from any research you look up around the globe, they will tell you that a person will go through a severe sickness, be it physically, mentally, or spiritually, to break them into that place. That's their initiation.
Right.
You have to understand that, man. You have to understand the path of the shaman or medicine man or woman is a very harsh path for those who really want to take that up. You
Right.
know what I mean? And really hold space and travel with people and do all those things. You get, in many ways, the traditions will tell you this is something that you can't study. This is something where the plants actually pick you. You know what I mean? They say, you're a holder of our medicine here. You know what I mean? It's like no average Joe could just walk in here and know how to use our technology. It just don't happen like that. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Listen, I didn't know I was gonna work with the toad. You know what I mean? Real
Hmm.
talk.
Hmm.
It was Sister Acacia that bigged me up. You know what I mean? Sister AK that said, listen, Dooley, I was just waiting for you to catch up to yourself. The toad was written all over you. You know what I mean? And the things that I've been learning these past 2 3 years, just sitting with people, how to really do you understand? I was talking to the some of the youth in the kitchen there. Got one ill MC in there. He ain't nothing nice with his shit. You know what I mean? I'm talking to him. I'm like, God, do you understand the rattle is a technology? I mean, you have to understand when you in that zone. I can understand. I know where a person's at when they say they're a shaman or medicine man or whatever. I just sit back and listen to their rattle game. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Or I listen to their chant game. You know what I mean? Because listen, the Icaros, though all those things, those are tools to bring you through different dimensions. And I'm not even talking about even spiritual warfare, where Master Kalendi already told us about that. But I've been going deeper and deeper into that science. And it's deep, y'all. And it's
Mm.
all in you. It's all in you. Trust me. You know what I mean? Trust me on that. You have to be able to sit down and and then cut out the distractions.
But
Be
and
like, yo, I'm gonna set a little time for myself, even if it's once a month, and be like, boom, hey, love, you know what I mean? Let's have the kids over here at grandma's or whoever, you know what I mean? We're gonna hold it down for the whole night to do this in a ceremony for ourselves.
but the
Because
the key, I didn't mean to cut your wisdom though,
yeah.
is do you ever think why people have to cut out so many distractions? Because people create distractions because they
That's
don't want to deal
right,
with their own stuff and
right, right,
themselves.
right, right,
Everybody wants a hack. Everybody
right,
wants Woodstock. Everybody wants
right,
it to be comfortable.
right.
Everybody is saying, someone give
And
me a
you look at it,
shortcut.
yo, and do you know this woman from the UK? She said, you said the key word, Oe. You said, Oe, you said uncomfortable. Everyone wants comfortable.
Everybody
This
wants
sister
comfortable.
from London was like, is it a way that you could cut out the throwing up part of this process? I was like, no, man. That's part of the process of your healing. That's how it go down in the jungle. You know what I mean? This is like, listen, it's like
They want rap
somebody you
music.
trying to
Look, they want rap
like
music
listen,
without going to the ghetto. They want rap music without
like
going to the ghetto.
for
That's
real, yo.
let me get
Shit
some
is
kind of
crazy,
safe.
yo. And like, listen, they will do that because I work with the toad, and also the frog and other medicines, but particularly combo, right? That's frog medicine.
Mm,
You know what I mean? That's all dealing with throwing up. You know what I mean?
mm,
And you have people, last time I checked, it was like 60 some patent medicines that they already got from that frog. You know what I mean? With the peptides,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So they squeezing from these medicines and they pushing out all kinds of other stuff. You know what I
mhm,
mean? But ain't
mhm.
nothing like the real McCoy. I'm gonna tell you. You know what I mean? So sit with the medicine. Learn how to understand that each time, for instance, when you throwing up, for instance, with the combo, when you look in the bucket, there's certain colors within the bucket. And that all deals with even the deeper levels of your gut, the bacteria in your gut, and all the other shit that you're healing. So there's levels to this. You'll see the first level of your cleansing, about yellowish type of throw up. Then another level where it's brownish, reddish. Then you go deeper. And when you go deeper and see blackish type of throw up, you're dealing with diseases literally being pulled out of people, man. You know what I
No,
mean?
they don't want to see that. They want to peel and just let it disseminate in through thin air like Jesus Christ. They
Yo,
want
it's
white
deep,
Jesus
bro.
to come in. They don't want to see the puking. But this is a part of the thing that people they don't want to say, oh, I'm responsible. How these things get in my body? Why am I
Right,
puking dark black? Why am I
right,
puking blood?
right.
Because because you brought it in there. Now we do want to say puking is not associated with all technology.
No, not
Okay.
at all. Not
So
at all. That's it.
some people be
Not at all.
listening right now and be like, I didn't want to try mushrooms because my stomach may get queasy. And the first
No,
thing I
no, no,
say
not
is,
at all.
I say, all the
Some of the plant medicine and fungi got different energetic signatures to it. You know what I
mm,
mean? So, you look at San Pedro, for instance, that's a heart warmer. You know what I mean? That's why you look at that and you could see a lot of people that could use that for couple therapy. You know what I mean? They use MDMA for that as well. You know what I mean? So we look at that and see how there's certain medicines that got certain properties to them. Mama Aya, you know why a lot of people don't want to deal with Mama Aya?
mm,
Because listen, man, I know a lot of people that love the bufo. They be like, oh yeah, I want to blast off and become my one God self, nigga, but come back and still be acting like an asshole. But Mama Aya kind of keep you. What mother do anyway? She hold you. She hold you accountable. Mama's gonna spank that ass and let you know. You know what I mean? So sometimes I've seen over the years, man, she chip a lot of these things. They don't happen overnight, but if you're consistent with these medicines, you will see that the old habits start to chip away. Certain things it start to give up. I had one sister I gave the combo to next day. She's a Dunkin' Donut drinker. You know what I mean? Straight
love
up. You know what I
caffeine and
mean?
all that.
True
Right.
to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Super
And
acidic.
that next day, after her cleansing with the frog medicine, she's like, I don't want no coffee. I don't want no Dunkins. You know what I mean? And she was a big time weed smoker. So she's like, yo, I didn't even feel like smoking like that today. You know what I mean? So you see how certain medicines work on you certain ways. And you have to see, first of all, the cleansing process. I take people through the cleansing process first. Let's do
Mm,
some combo first. Let's look at the
mm,
trauma first. Let's
mm,
look at the epic genetic DNA first. You
mm-hmm,
know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Let's
mm-hmm.
look at some of that trauma when your uncle touched you this way, or your father left you out at that age. Let's bring that up so we could release that, so you could start to go beyond that human self and start to ascend to something more, as Baba would say.
When you deal with the mushrooms after the combo.
Yes, after the combo, after you start doing the cleansing and all that. And then you
Mm-hmm.
could start off slow. You don't have to dive in. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like I tell, if some people want to rock with five for a couple of months or a year or whatever, see how it rocks with you. You know what I mean? If you one of them people, I'm gonna start off a little slow with the microdose. Microdosing is beautiful, bro. You know what I mean? Listen, I had several people that got off their medication dealing with bipolarism and
Mm,
feeling sluggish and everything, taking their medication. They slowly got off of their medication with microdosing with mushrooms.
mm, mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I know these two sisters right now as we speak. You know what I mean? Able to function. You know what I mean? Do you know Hape, the tobacco that they blow up your nose? It serves a lot of functions, but one of the functions is dealing with social anxiety.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
You got one,
Mm-hmm.
you got a couple of people literally can't leave their house, bro. You know what I mean? Dealing with the mass. We dealing with a whole new type of game right now. You know what I mean? People walk around, mask this, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Me and Owe, me and Yo, we deal with Chi Kung. So you already know we deal with deep breathing, we deal with the Chi, the prana. You know what I mean? So how are you gonna walk around restricting your breathing? So of course there's gonna be a lot of craziness going on right now. So dealing with the social anxiety, yes. Just having a little hape in the morning or whatever, just to open your lungs to get the chi flowing so you could start your day righteously without the monkey on your back. Because when you deal with some of these medicines, you break in juju, you break in spells. Sometimes your vision ain't clear, bro. You know what I mean? And if you deal with, listen, man, because I deal with energy healing, I've been doing that for almost 30 years. I've seen energy attachments to people. I've seen it even on myself. And I could see how that relates to people's perception, how they think, how they feel, and all those things. Okay? Now, some people will say you might be going spooky, Dooley, for a minute. But when I'll give you an example. All right? In my younger days, when I started to smoke weed, and I seen that as one of my early ethogens, I always seen it as something sacred, a sacrament. You know what I mean? As my Rasta brothers or my Sadhus or my Shivites, right? But sometimes I'll be with my brothers and we be smoking, or even in a cipher with whatever, and you'll be feeling the negative energy sometimes, or the bad, like, wow, you know, I got the vibes. What is the vibes, y'all? You know what I mean? Sometimes when I teach Reiki or energy healing, I say when you walking outside, it's like you take a physical bath. Yes, you have to take a spiritual bath as well. You know what I mean? That's why when you go to Ifa systems or Yoruba systems or any of these systems, right? They have certain sacred baths that people take, right? Because they know there's certain things that we can measure. We now have spirituality has met up with science.
And
So
let me
now we
say,
can measure the auric field. And now we can measure how the auric field is affected when we deal with low vibrational frequencies. You know what I mean? Be it from individuals, be it from music, be it through even cell towers or what have you. You know what I mean? And how does that affect the individual? So I've seen that most of the time when we look at interdimensional beings, and I mean, and just because we live in a third dimensional world, that doesn't mean that there's beings from other dimensions that we might not be able to perceive.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It ain't my fault that you can't see. You know what I mean? But when you have clairvoyance, when you have certain people that got certain natural abilities, they see things around people. They feel things around people. Sometimes I know when certain spirits are in my house. You know what I mean? You could smell them. Sometimes I have a smell a certain perfume go by. And I'll be like, okay, so-and-so who passed away is chilling in the kitchen right now. Now, as you fine-tune these abilities, you
Go
will
ahead. I'm
be
trying to stop.
able
Go
to
ahead.
you will be able to fine-tune them and start to see them more, feel them more, get the actual messages clear more. And this is nothing spooky, because you have to understand this is our tradition. Most people are gonna go spooky. If not spooky, they're gonna go science and say that's pseudoscience. They either go one of the two. You know what I mean? Oh, you're dealing with shaitan, or you're dealing with, oh, you're talking about all this out of the religious type of thing. Don't go there. You know what I mean? But this is your birthright. And when I say this is your birthright, everyone's birthright, come on, man. You was born with this. So when my father taught me from day one, yeah, son, you could walk through walls. Yeah, son, yes, you can levitate and do other things. And I was taught to read certain scriptures from a very young age. You know what I mean? To go outside that box, to understand that there's things that we have not even tapped into yet. You know what I mean? So I'll give you an example. It was a sister straight from the projects. You know what I mean? Right here in the beam. Wasn't into no metaphysical shit, spiritual stuff, or nothing. This sister one day told me, she's like, and listen, she's not crazy, nothing. You know what I mean? She go to church, she keep a job, she do her thing. Listen, this sister was running, doing her jogging early in the morning. And she said she got into that runner's high. She got into that zone. And she said, Dooley, I kid you not. She said, I started to levitate for a couple of seconds. I said, are you serious? She said, I'm dead serious.
Hold on,
She said,
pause
yo,
right there. Hold on, pause
yo,
right there. I need everybody to
bro,
share this with at least 2 people. I need you to invite 2 people to the stream. We're trying to get our numbers up. Lots of people need to hear this information about activating your superhero powers. So please share this on your Instagram, on another YouTube channel, share it to your Facebook, tweet it to somebody, go invite 2 or 3 people so they can come get in on these live lessons. The sister asked earlier about what book can we go read. You see, we've been on here for 41 minutes and nobody's quoted one book. You're only going to get
I'll give
this.
you what book.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm
No.
sorry, God.
They
Yeah.
getting live. They getting live experiences. If you got a question, you just
Go ahead.
ask us and
Yeah.
we'll help you the best we can. But we're not going to give you no book over going to take your first journey. You need to have a ceremony, and then you already are the book. You the book of life.
Right.
So that's
Right.
the book that you need
Right.
to. So the book we
Right.
recommend both of us is called the Yo book. And
Yes.
your book is your own book of life that you experience when you pick up the pen and start saying, I'm going to start participating
Right.
in my particular destiny. That's what
Right.
superheroes do. Superheroes
Right.
don't read a lot of books. They practice a lot.
Right.
They indulge. They take risks.
Right.
They go get training. They go
Right.
hang around other superheroes.
Yo,
Superheroes can call you. Now I got a superhero on the line talking to me, and I can say, this happened to me, this happened. What happened physically? But because once you let it get out of the body and take it into the head, that's what these scientists now, like the Terrence McKenna's and less thans, think they know everything, which is why Baba Kalendi had to be like, just because you got a PowerPoint and a master's degree from Chicago, don't make you a master.
word.
So a lot of
Real
y'all are
talk.
reading
Real
books
talk.
from people who have not done a 1/50th of what some people that may be very close to you to know. So me and
Right.
Dooley, we very passionate, and we don't have PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that all the time, but we telling you about the same thing Dr. Jerry would say. The medicine will integrate you. You take the medicine, it's going to integrate you. Now we are training some people to like know how to integrate. However, the medicine itself, this technology, and what you go over there, like 50 Cent said, it ain't what you cop, is what you can keep. That's why it's not a silver bullet. You can't just say, I'm gonna just go over here one time. I did Cambo and I did Hoppe with Dooley, so now I'm good. I ain't gotta do it no more. No, this is a continual journey. This is a continual journey until you get to some higher level of mastery, right? But where you at now, and to escape your trauma and to get the sisters, last night the therapist that came by, I really like how she was picking her words. She said, we're not going to use healing, we're going to say getting well. We're going to get well. You need to get well. So in
This is your natural state.
It's your
This
natural
is your
state.
natural state.
If you can
This
get
is
well,
listen,
you got to
yo.
worry about that.
Oh my God. You know what's so deep, yo? I'm gonna tell you. Books are just validation for your experiences. That's all they are. You know what I mean? They're just, some people need that validation. And I hear you. I got you. You know what I mean? So like, I'll give you an example, right? Along the lines of the levitation experience. One of my favorite fucking yogis of all time, Repa, of Tibet. And I
Mm.
was going through in the early 2000s. I got a lot of different initiations from some of these lamas at the time. One of them, his name is Garchen Rinpoche. This is a picture of him. I don't know if you can see it. Put this light up. He's one of the elders. He's in this documentary called The Yogis of Tibet, I believe.
Mm.
And they never on record showed any of these secret teachings to the public before.
Mm-hmm.
This is only solely from mouth to ear. You know what I mean? But the time that we're living in, the changing times that we're living in, and because a lot of the elders are passing away, they're like, we have to pass this on to the next generation or to the West or wherever they feel they might be interested in these teachings. But
Is this the
Miller
documentary?
Repo,
Is this the
huh?
document? Is this the
I believe
documentary
that's
right
it
here?
right there. Yep, that's him right there. That's that's one of my teachers right there. Gotcha Rinpoche. Yep. Yeah, great man. Great man. I haven't seen him in years. But I learned about Milarepa through their lineage. You know, I went through the Kagyug lineage, which is I met this gentleman here too, very good brother. Um and that's through that's you have the Vajrayana tradition that we's from the Mahayana tradition
Mm-hmm.
of Tibetan Buddhism. And they have the practice of what you call the rainbow body technique, where
Mm.
a person can literally turn their physical body into light at the time of their death
And roll out.
and roll out.
Their
All right. They
ascension,
have
not their death, their ascension at
over
the time of their ascension.
200,000 documented cases of witnesses that seen people literally turn into light. Now, for those who weren't that ill like that, their body you would shrink to a small size, to even inches sometime, and they would put that in what they would call their stupas, which was a symbolic representation of the Buddha's body or your higher self. All right. Milarepa was a killer at first. His story was that he learned the darker arts and he took niggas out. And then he learned how to turn his life around through his real teacher named Marpa. And Marpa had him go to the next level where this brother had the ability before he passed away to not only learn how to fly. Yes, he flew through the air like on some Superman shit, since we're talking about superheroes tonight. The brother was a shapeshifter. When you would see people that would go to try to seek his wisdom in the high Himalayan mountains, you would see footprints of tigers or an animal and then go into human footprint. All right. This brother had the ability to change his physical size. Okay. So, and the list goes down. And these powers that they call these things in India and Tibet, they call them siddhis, Siddhi.
Mm-hmm.
And these are natural abilities that anyone can acquire when you master your mind. And when you be able to master the mind and the heart, that is when you start to really become a true master. Because you have a lot of people that get the siddhis and the powers, but if they don't deal with their lower self, they become what we call supervillains. All right. And my father taught me about them from day one as well, too. All right. So that's why my pop said, hey, you'll get these powers, son, but don't be attached to them because you have a long way to go. All right. So for a lot of people, like I tell people all the time, from my class,
Get
I
back to
give
the
them
light. Get back to the light.
I give them the example of the famous book, The Autobiography of the Yogi with Yogananda. And there's plenty of examples of real life superheroes in that book that shows what person can do when they master themselves. There's a chapter that happens when a person became a supervillain, right? Where one dude had the ability to put his psychic imprint on an object, make it disappear and reappear on his person. All right. So this nigga was fucking robbing the jewelry banks blind. They had the motherfuckers, you know what I mean? They was like, yo, we have a master jewelry thief at large here. and throughout Bombay. So his teacher eventually got wind of the situation. And, you read about it in the book yourself, but that's just a prime example of, people can have powers, but what are you doing with it? Are you
Mhm.
mastering yourself? Are you bringing more to humanity? Are you uplifting this planet to ascend to places, other civilizations of star elders and brothers and sisters that already did their graduation work, their homework? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We have to understand that, understand that. You know what I mean? Understand that. Baba Kalendi told us about galactic history. That's part of our culture. You know what I mean? When I first heard about the Dogons, it was through Malachi Z. York back in the early 90s.
Right,
Truth be
right.
told. Truth
Absolutely.
be told. And I was like 13, 12 years old. And I couldn't help but respect it because it was coming from the OGs from around the way. You know what I mean? They were like, yo, check this out, little man. We're going to have you sit in class. You know what I mean? I'm sitting down. Niggas is talking about we come from outer space. I'm like,
Right.
what the hell y'all talking about? You know what I mean? And I didn't say it out loud, but in the back of my head, I was like, yo, this is kind of Star Trek right now. You know what I mean? But it wasn't until years and years of study and seeing that the same narrative was being told over and over throughout the world. You know what I mean? Through the Hopi, through the Cherokee, through the Dogon, through the Zulu, all saying that we came from the stars and that we traveled. You know what I mean? And I could say from experience, we're not, like Owe said, man, we're not talking about just books. We want you to have this experience. So when I had my first experience with the real, with the Bufo, and not talking just about star travels type, like reading about it, like experiencing it, nigga, man, the macabre open. All right.
Mm.
All right. And the dude that was serving it, man, we was doing a healing on a brother that just came out of rehab. He had a stroke, y'all. All right. So that's when I'm like, I'm coming back. Like even Acacia said, like it's natural to work with that told medicine dually. That's you. So I'm in that zone. I'm telling people that you need to be over here at this gate, that gate. You need to block this. This is coming through over here. You know what I mean? And the energy came through. The macabre is light blue and white. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Might be different for other people, but that's how it manifested for me. And it
Mm.
started to open, y'all. And when it
Mm.
started to spin, and it was like, and you started to feel that shit, I had this sister, very deep sister, known her for years, this elder, seen the light open from my top of my head. I could feel the energy traveling up through the sky, like super fast, y'all. I made this connection. It hit it something and it started to thunder.
Mm.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I had a roster that seen it across the street. After this whole thing happened, I'll tell you a little more about it. He said, you started to thunder. You know what I mean? And listen, there was no thunder, lightning, rain, anything on the Boston forecast that day. Okay. When the healing was over, there was many things that happened. That's when the elder, you know, the elder spirits, they was like, listen, the healing is done. He's good. The brothers stand up. And to this day, I will not forget this in my life. He had two young brothers standing by his side. And they was like, nah, I'm good, yo. I got this. The brother started to walk.
Keep the
Not
light on
only
your
did
face.
he
Keep the light
start
on
to
your face.
walk,
Keep the light on your face. Keep the light on your
yo,
face.
not only did he start to walk, because he came in there in a wheelchair, y'all. He started to pick up speed and run. She had a tree in her backyard. He started to skip around the tree in the
Mm.
backyard. My third eye was still open, so I seen his mom that passed away on a spirit level right there with him, cheering him on. I was crying like a baby at that time. Another sister, she stopped bawling because we all understood we seen a miracle at that moment. It was no getting around it.
Mm-hmm.
This brother's walking now. He's still going through his recovery, but his level of recovery is 10 times faster than what they was doing at the hospital with him, man. Do you hear me, man? Listen, there was a sister that was riding down that same day down the street. She was in a little minivan type joint. I remember this. She was with her daughter. She said that she was feeling depressed and she something told her just to leave the house. She ended up riding down the street where we was doing the ceremony outside in the sister's backyard. You know what I mean? And she could feel the energy from the yard because we had the drums out and all that. So she get out the car and she's like, I don't know. I just feel all this energy. I have to feel like I have to come over here and talk to you. You know what I mean? So she come out and say, you see this man? By then he was kind of tired. I was like, you see him walking over there? About 30 minutes ago, he came in there with his wheelchair. He's walking now. She said, are you serious? She said, can I film that for my church friends? I said, sure. You know what I mean? Put it on.
These stories
so
are
like, yo, man. So it's like, and the stories continue, bro. And not just with me, man. You know what I mean? It's just happening more frequently. The frequencies of this planet, everything that's going on with the changes with this planet, we are a part of it. And we are going through our changes. You know what I mean? I talked to the two young brother and sister in there. One of them talking about she had an experience with dealing with the water on a very deep superhero level. You know what I mean? When she was at the beach. You know, so my thing is, yes, play with your abilities. See what you could do. You know what I mean? Take time for yourself. Microdose. Yes, go to the woods. Go to the water. See it. Call on mama on the water. You know what I mean? Call on Shu. Call on the elements and see how you could connect with them. You know what I mean? Baba used to always tell us, man, back in even Mama Africa, we was dealing with the weapons of war with the elements. So we knew how to drum in a certain way where we could manifest the wind on some next shit. Or have the water on our command on some next shit. But we have to really know it. You have to practice it and really get in tune with it. They started calling me the ghetto shaman over here in Boston, not because I call myself any goddamn name, you know what I mean? But niggas was seeing me starting up cars on the street with my chi. You know what I mean? It started one day when I was with my homeboy Ant Dog. He was the first dude I initiated into Reiki. You know what I mean? And I seen this dude, he was near Jackson Square. He was sitting in his car. I could tell he was messed up. You know what I mean? So I'm going over there. I tell Ant, I was like, yo, Ant, we start up this car. You know what I mean? He's like, what you talking, man? Dude, you crazy, man. You be all that crazy shit, nigga. Listen, I was like, listen. I was like, nah, man. We could start up that car. So, you know, I approach the dude. I talk to dude. I be like, blah, blah. I see what's going on. I see that, you know, look like you stuck here. You know what I mean? Do you need some help? You know what I mean? I could try something for you. He went along with it. He just he just was watching me, you know what I mean? And I visualized mad energy coming from outer space, tunneling down, going through my crown chakra, beaming through my arms and my hands and my fingertips. And I seen it coming through like a laser beam. That's how I was visualizing it and seeing it in my mind's eye. Okay?
Dooley.
I put,
we got to give people steps. We giving them a bunch of stories, but that's not giving them no steps.
Long story short, I started the motherfucking car and I did it a couple of times after that. You know what I mean? So it was like, boom, this is just beautiful, bro. But we could start with some steps. Where y'all want to rock with? I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That might be some advanced shit for niggas. But yeah, where we want to go?
No, you have to tell people from your experience what are three things that they need to start with?
Okay.
Like,
Well, the
because
three things that people should start off with is this. One, the ideal environment. All right. I cannot stress that enough. All right. That means being in an environment that you feel comfortable and safe in. That's key. You know what I mean? Because you can't do the work if you have distractions. You know what I mean? You can, but you know what I mean? For newbies, you want to be able to have an ideal environment, meaning turn off the cell phone, turn off the TV, have relaxing music on if you want, or things that will get you in a comfortable zone. All right. Especially the phone. That's distraction. That you might be in a very deep place within your experience, and the phone might just pull you out of it. So you want to turn off all the devices, get in a comfortable setting. Two, there's a certain thing called trip sitters, all right, where you have people that literally friends, family, different people that will sit with you to make sure
GODs,
you're doing okay. Just
GODs,
say, hey, do you need some water? You need another pillow? Yo, you need me to burn some Palo Santo or some sage around you? You good? You know what I mean? I remember I had one good brother of mine, real street brother, you know what I mean? Never took the mushrooms, you know what I mean? He was with his wife for many years, about 13 years, I believe. Went through a heavy divorce, was going through deep depression. All right. I gave him a little bit of mushrooms and he had a breakthrough. He told me that he felt like love was gone for him. He felt like this magnitude of love that was so deep, but there was moments where he would have to call out because he was in the living room and he'd be like, yo, dude, you still there? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, yo, I'm still here, bro. You know what I mean? That's what a sitter is. You see, this brother was traveling through the universe, literally. You know what I mean? But he still had to have a level of comfort to still be able to. This is new to him. He's treading on new ground. You know what I mean? For the spirit world for him. So for him, he's like, hey, I still need that comfort there. Hey, Dooley, you still there? Yeah, I'm still here, bro. Were you good? You know what I mean? So you have certain things like the ideal environment, the sitter, you know. Also, you want to utilize certain things that can help ground individuals, right? Because you have certain things that people talk about a lot. Like, for instance, some people say, I had a bad trip, right? And that happens sometimes. And then we have psychonauts that actually say, well, what is a bad trip? You know what I mean? And we could really go into that and talk about that. But that, you know, that's to each his own. To me, at the end of the day, I don't want anyone to be able to say, I had such a psychological mind fuck that I don't want to go back to that medicine at all. We don't want that to happen to our people. We want them to be able to understand that this is a medicine that could work for you. You
So,
know,
so hold on right.
when you come to it with respect and honor.
So
Mhm.
I want to build on three things before the three things Dooley gave y'all.
Okay.
A lot of y'all are not meditating,
Right.
and you're not meditating, which you also are not in contact with your breath. You don't have a relationship with your breath. So
Right.
then when you get to the
That's
ceremony,
what I was gonna say about the breath. Yep.
the ceremony is not going to happen every day.
Right.
But your breathing needs to happen every day, and
Right.
your meditation needs to happen every day. So the anxiety that you're carrying when you get to a ceremony
Very
is
good point.
not because of the aya or the cambo or the
Right.
mushrooms or the toad. It's because you spend every day practicing carrying the anxiety
Right.
because you don't meditate. You don't do qigongs.
Right.
You don't do breath exercises.
Right.
You don't have a means to relax. And I'm
Right.
talking about relax without the marijuana. If
Right.
you say I gotta smoke to relax, then you a weed head, you a
Right.
pothead, you an
That
addict.
too.
You smoking
Yeah.
because it's a sacrament. That's when it shows you the respect. Like you said, you show up with the
Right.
respect, then you gonna be winning prior before you get to the ceremony because a lot of you have Woodstock ideology about ceremony,
Right.
because you think it's supposed to have all. Baba Clinton
Right.
said, shut all the fucking music off, shut
Right.
all the lights off.
Keep it
I,
hardcore.
I give you like, it ain't even hardcore. It's the way
Well,
the
and
ancient
that's
ones.
just natural, but
It's the way the ancient ones did it. The
yeah,
ancient
that's how we
ones
did it.
didn't have no whole bunch of
Right.
oh, we're just gonna do it out here in the daytime. They had to
Right.
work. They was
Right.
working in the daytime, so they took it
Right.
at night, because
Right.
the nighttime was when there is the energy is stiller. So a lot of people make excuses for them not to have a breakthrough, or they let their fear dictate their set and setting. So they want to go
True.
in the daytime, and mushrooms don't like daytime.
True.
Or they want to compare one entheogen to another
Well,
one.
well,
Cambo, hold on, let me
yeah,
finish.
yeah,
Cambo and Aya and Toad, they have their own personalities,
that's right. That's
just
right.
like marijuana. So the
Right.
problem is that I have seen, especially with Black people who have not done any entheogens, is you want to compare everything to a blunt.
Right.
So we need to stop first and just
Right.
talk about that for 5 minutes.
Right. Right.
That
Right.
you can't compare everything to your vice, because
Right.
most of the
Right.
time y'all are not smoking marijuana as a sacrament.
Right.
You've turned it into a
And, and,
crutch.
and, and and you can get more out of marijuana when you approach it with respect. To each his own. This is how I look at things. But when you walk with it to a level of respect, I tell you, one time I had an experience with Mama marijuana once with the goddess Kali. And I didn't even expect it to go down like that. You know what I mean? And it was like she said, give me 3 tokes, give me 3 offerings. And I went into her realm, and she taught me so much about the level of healing. It was ridiculous. She even told me some things along the lines of it was like moving through your body like black plasma. And she was showing how she eats disease and filth, and how you can invoke her energy on a level of visualization, breathing. She gave me the whole download with that. But that all came through the offering of just marijuana. So when we look at things and say, yes, we could look at CBD oils and different things, because some people do have pain, and some people can use the marijuana for actual physical pain, for arthritis, all kinds of different things. That's beautiful. You know what I mean? But when we're dealing with the level of spiritual development, evolution, nothing should be a crutch. And you should be able to activate these medicines to have actually like a reenactment of these experiences through your meditations. You know what I mean? There's plenty of times that I have done salat, just done my prayer, and literally went back into Bufo land. You know what I mean? Real talk. You know what I mean? Because all those experiences are within anyway. We know the DMT is within us anyway. You know what I mean? So those things are important, man, to know that first of all, these are all tools for us. And it doesn't matter what school of thought you come through. I don't care if you're doing yoga, qigong, chanting, tantric, or what have you. Whatever approach that you're taking it, use them all for your own ability to grow. You know what I mean? It's not one thing or the other. These are things to build you up.
Hold
You
on,
know
we
what I
got
mean?
questions. We got
So
questions. We got questions. We got
yeah,
questions.
yeah.
Diva D said, how long is the Cambo journey?
The combo journey is usually about 20, 25 minutes. Um, the thing is this, it's like they call it the vaccination of the jungle. So when in this era of coronavirus and stuff, I already told y'all about the hape or rape. That's the tobacco snuff medicine that can open up your lungs. So if somebody's dealing with some coronavirus or what have you, and they're dealing with some respiratory issues, they should be blowing that stuff in people's nose daily. You know what I mean? Anytime any of my family members that had a cold that would come in or whatever, blow in their nose and get that right out. But the vaccination of the jungle or the combo, that's about 20 minutes. And It's a very intense experience, a very intense experience. You feel, first thing you feel is like heat going through your entire body. You know what I mean? So you feel this heat. Some people might compare it to a Kundalini awakening experience, but this heat rising through the bottom of your feet all the way to the top of your head. And you're feeling sometimes the vibration in your ears, and sometimes the heart even picking up speed. You know what I mean? Usually some people get what they call the frog face, where sometimes their face swell up sometimes. You have nausea, all these things that come through, but there's the cleansing afterwards. You know, I had one guy that would come to see me once a month. He was in college, and anytime he would have an exam, he would take combo because he said mentally he was much more sharper and he would get better grades.
I
So
want to
your awareness and your focus becomes razor sharp too with it.
I
Has
want
many advantages with that medicine.
I want to make this point too. This is a new discovery that we've had by, like as Dooley says, sitting with people. Ceremony versus journey. What's the difference? I'm gonna explain it to you. So I'm gonna pass this to Dooley so he can pass it to his people.
Okay.
When you are in on the technology, that's the ceremony. But in between the ceremonies is the journey. So let's say you go in on some mushrooms and the mushrooms give you an assignment while you in the ceremony. When you come out of the ceremony, the journey is to go do the assignment. So you're not taking a journey when you are sitting with Dooley and you doing some toad or some cambo or some mushrooms. That's ceremony. That's why they call him the ghetto shaman. He's making sure the ceremony is what? By the books. He knows the protocols. He's not doing Woodstock. A lot of y'all just jack off. Hold on, let me finish, Dooley. A lot of y'all just want to jerk off. You're not here the shaman or the person conducting the ceremony. He's there to make sure he's like the flight attendant.
Right.
He's the flight attendant. The technology, the medicine, the plant, the fungi, that's the pilot.
Right.
And your ass is the passenger. All you need to do is sit there. Now, when the plane lands, after 20 minutes, after 6 hours, after 30 minutes, whichever ride you took, then you begin your journey through the airport and getting out of the airport, getting in the car. Why did Dooley leave Boston to get on the plane to come to Atlanta? Because he was journeying through the streets.
Right.
Then he came back. He stayed gone 2, 3, 4 weeks. He came back home. He needed to refreshen himself. So he went back in on another ceremony.
Right. Right.
So the journey is going to be longer than the ceremony. And there's a difference. And we must establish that now for a lot of beginners. The journey is the work. When you see Acacia, and Acacia is saying, and be like, I'm gonna go to Mexico.
Right.
She's going to Mexico to set up ceremony. But that's something that she got as an assignment, as an intention to go on these journeys. But we got our words, a lot of times we got our words confused, right? And we try to water them down. I heard somebody talking about, I blow toad all the time. No, son, you might blow weed. You ain't blowing no toad.
You ain't gonna blow toad all the time. You can't. There's certain things that you can't abuse. You can't. There's certain things that will put you on your ass. Facts. You know what I mean? I don't see anybody walking around saying I'm gonna do ayahuasca, have an ayahuasca party. It ain't happening. You're gonna be throwing up on each other. I ain't seen nobody that's gonna say I'm gonna do some combo party. Combo what? Combo going to the bathroom shitting on yourself? Same thing with the bufo. I don't see nobody say they blow and smoke every day because that's a sacred medicine that takes you through dimensions. You know, you see most people, first thing when they really smoking some bufo, they lay back because their body has it feels like it's going to a place of like my spirit's about to let go. So I'm leaving my body. You know what I mean? These are certain things that you can't sit down in a place of being like, okay, this is casual social type of thing. It's not. And if you do it from that level, guess what? There will be repercussions. You know what I mean? There's guardians along the lines of these technologies. There's certain places that a motherfucker is not ready to go. I seen certain people that thought they were ready for the bufo, right? And I told people, I was like, this ain't no weed. This ain't no ayahuasca. This ain't no mushroom. You know what I mean? One dude, dog, he thought he was literally dying, punching himself, scratching himself. I wasn't holding the ceremony. I was a dude that I brought in out of town. You know what I mean? And that was a lesson to be learned. You know what I mean? Be careful of who holds space for you. Because the first thing he needed was to make sure he had some people that had some pillows around him. The space is clear, making sure you have another assistant right there to hold him down if needed. Because he thought he was literally dying. You know what I mean? I had to bring out the first aid kit for the dude. I seen other people have their body contorting and like feeling like they're like going into some animal type of thing. And I'm not talking about original indigenous shape shifting. That's a different story. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who have not let go of their animal lower self state and have not learned how to become God yet or true goddess yet. You know what I mean? They're still thinking they're human. You know what I mean? I seen people freak out when they seen themselves going through them dimensions like zoom, 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 zoom. You know what I mean? Because that's what that bufo does for you. Real talk.
So somebody said, does Dooley have a YouTube channel? This is Dooley's channel right here. He was working on
I got to work on that. I'm not really a technology person like that. You might even see my daughter's little cartoon videos coming on there. I don't know, but I got to work on. But yeah, there's some videos up there of me on there. Yeah.
I see. This is one. Obviously, you was working on that. He was working on the piece right here.
What about artworks, man? You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm up just, the dude with the afro. We all used to watch him in the Saturday morning sometimes just drawing. You know what I mean? He was bored as anything. You know what I mean? It was boring. But once in a while, I would check it out and see the trees and stuff. But I try to definitely kick some freestyles in between some jokes. And usually I'm on mushrooms while I'm painting. So it's usually an interesting experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So let me see. I had someone pull out some of their locks. A trip sitter has to be prepared. I had someone pull out some of their locks. A trip sitter has to be prepared. One thing you can do is when somebody is in a ceremony, the real them comes out. So you have to be able to discern if this trip is even ready for them. Right? Because that's the difference between a drug dealer and a medicine man. A medicine man says, you don't need no medicine today because you tripping.
Right.
We ain't doing no medicine today. A drug dealer says, oh, you got the money? We're gonna do some bufo. No.
And the thing is, you have to know how to read people's auric field. True indeed. It's like so many times I look at people, I say, man, every time I go in with the medicine, I take the medicine with the person. So I'm there with you, man. You know what I mean? We go deep, man. And they always have to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I mean? That's always been my motto. You know what I mean? So if you're not having the sensitivity of what a person's going through, you should know automatically certain tonations, for instance, that can level a person out. You should already know certain breathing techniques that a person could be doing. You should off the grip be like, listen, I want you to breathe. You need to we're gonna and start breathing with them. There's certain things you can do to definitely ground a person. you know, and those things are very important to know if you're a sitter. You know what I mean? Even the hape, the rape, like I was telling you, the sacred tobacco medicine, that is so great of a medicine that help people ground themselves. When I see people off the ripter, when they, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let me give you some rape. You know what I mean? It helps ground. That's grandfather medicine. That's medicine that's grounding for a person. You know, so these are things that people definitely should know before they're sitting with someone or they're seeking someone out who they feel have experience with these medicines. Is that person equipped to hold you down if you have some psychological things or some things that you have to release that are coming off of you? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? When I do the medicine with the person, like I said, my main tools are my musical instruments. Those are my tools. Each one of them serve a purpose. Each one of them, I'm in that trance at that moment to know that I'm supposed to do it at this particular frequency to be able to help you to get through that and navigate you through that particular path at that moment. I connect with your spirit guides where there's moments where I do not rehearse any of these songs that come out of me.
Mm.
They just come out. And sometimes it's your own personal song from your own personal ancestor guide or your own higher self coming through and using me as a tool or a vessel. You know, after first it was bugged out when I was working with the bufo because at first I used to see that's when I was seeing the old Mexican lady. It was this old Mexican lady would come over me sometime and my whole voice would go to this high pitch, you know, and I would, you know, and when you do this work, you feel, you know, when a spirit is around you and certain things of that nature.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I used to do these chants all the time when I was younger, and I used to think they were gibberish, to tell you the truth.
Mm.
Until I met two of my homeboys, two of my good brothers that were into chanting too, that were from the hood. And I was like, oh shit, y'all do that too? You know? And it wasn't until I first I was at UMass. I was doing a talk over there. That's the first time I met Baba Kalendi. And I was
Mm.
doing a talk on urban shamanism.
Mm.
And I met this white dude over there. We was talking, I was telling him about the chants. And he was like, yo, well, Dooley, can I hear one of them? So I went off the grip and I was just like, off the rip right there, I just went in and he recognized some of the words that were being said through the chant. And he said, yo, you're singing ancient, I recognize some of the words you're speaking ancient Mayan language. You know what I mean? Because this dude would go back and forth to Mexico and sit in fungi ceremonies that still hold the traditions. You know what I mean? When we're talking about like Maria Sabina, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
and all these traditions that came straight from Mexico in certain ways that they approached the mushroom. You know, it was deep, man. You know, so these things come through when you sometimes working with certain practitioners, and when you fine tune yourself, you'll be able to fine tune yourself more, where you're able to tap into your own inner songs and different things, your own inner dance. You know what I mean? The other day when I was for my birthday, my strong day, I went in on a microdose level. I was eating chocolate. Sometimes about the mushroom chocolates, they be good as shit. So you gotta watch out for them shit. You be eating like motherfuckers, be like, yo, yeah, I was gonna chill, but I guess I'm going in. So, I was going in from the ancient Hindu dance that night. And I seen myself on a higher frequency form. But it was all the usage of the mudras. You
Mm.
know, this is all in our ancient history, y'all. When we overlook these things sometimes because we think that it was just, a regular dance or they had just a regular crystal. You know what I mean? Like Baba was trying to tell us, look into in the Ming Evening Zoo crystal, look into the transdimensional crystals, the
Hmm.
Plantier crystal. This is ancient technology. So when I even see the ancient technology, even with the dance, and how there's certain movements or mudras that open up certain states of consciousness within an individual. It's deep, you know? And this stuff comes out automatically in a person because it's all in our DNA. You know what I mean? So you at the right dosage, at the right frequency and time, it unleashes itself, and you're able to tap in.
Absolutely. So look, I've been up since about I had 4 ceremonies this weekend. Duly let you
Right.
know that when you sitting for folks, it can be a toll on you because they
Oh
got their
hell
rest,
yeah.
but you didn't get your rest.
Oh
So
yeah, it's all nighter joint there.
yeah, so tonight ain't gonna be all nighter like I normally can go. But I think that y'all on a scale of 1 to 10, I definitely would like to know in the chat, what did y'all get out of this? What was the number one thing that y'all got out of this share tonight about activating your inner superhero, dealing with the plants and the fungi? And does anyone feel a little more comfortable or even a little more confident after hearing this conversation between two kings, between two gods? It won't kill you. That's what my man told me the other day. He said, look,
Right.
he said, if you're sitting for somebody and they start bugging out, he said,
Nah,
just come
ain't
and
gonna
talk
do
to him. Just come in there and talk to him and tell him one thing.
that.
It'll all be over in the morning.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah,
right.
none of the stuff that we're talking about is like alcohol that has a
Nah, nah.
prolonged effect on
Oh
you
hell no.
lower.
Hell no.
It's not cocaine that has a
No.
profound effect on
Hell
you
no.
lower. It's not like abusing marijuana that can have a profound effect on you lower. These
Right,
things are sacred. And
right,
we and that's what sacred and superhero go together. So that's what we talking
right.
about. We ain't talking about you just keep calling me talking about I want to come do another. You can't do 10 grams every week. Bible said
No,
that
hell
too.
no.
You can't be out here
Hell
doing
no.
10 grams
Your your your
every other
your
week.
serotonin level in your brain won't even allow you. It won't even allow it to happen. So is your body naturally does what it need to do. It's like you're trying to get more in that zone, and you're like, damn, I took 5 last time. Why ain't there? Because no, you need to replenish certain things in your brain. Real talk. So your body already knows what it's doing, man. Come on, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's deep, man. I seen my homegirl Acacia on there making the comments, man. I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't even see the comments on there. But big up to everybody that came through to listen. I wanted to drop a quick poem for y'all, cause you know what I mean. Art and music and all that. That's where it's at. Sometimes we just got to use the art to really even reach the youth. On that level like that, man, because it's important. You know what I mean?
So
So
somebody was just asking about do you have a Facebook page? So I'm gonna show them the Facebook page
yeah,
while you go ahead. Make sure y'all send Dooley a message. Don't just send him a friend request and you don't tell him who you are or
man,
nothing like that. So this is his website, Abdul K. Wilkins. This is Beantown Shaman. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The God and my nigga at the same time for whichever one I need. You know what I'm saying? You still got to stay connected to the streets out here because as that's what we was doing. That's what Baba was talking about is
Right,
these urban environments. This stuff is
right.
out. That's where the superheroes is at in the urban
Yo,
environment.
you best believe it. You best believe it. I mean, listen, like Baba said, it didn't even get hit the hood. It wasn't it. The psychedelics didn't even allow us to see the true potential of what we're capable of doing with it. It didn't even hit it yet because we're looking at the 1960s and we're looking at them shutting it down and with the hippie movement. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But you have to understand, one of my aunts was a Black Panther, you know what I mean? And it was easy for the government and stuff to shoot up Black movements and take out leaders on that level. But when they had their own European children that were waking up, that had their pineal gland decalcifying, that was a whole different story. You know what I mean? Because they're looking, oh wow, why are we calling this man over here a nigga? Our grandfather's racist as shit. You know what I mean? And this mushroom is teaching me how to love, how to forgive, how to open up my heart chakra. You know what I mean? We're talking about real peace, real universal love. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
On the next scale. And those goes into the Hopi prophecies and things of that nature as well. When they talk about the rainbow tribe or all the various races of the human family coming together during these times of change and being able to really upgrade being able to change our own frequencies, and activate our own DNA. You know what I mean? So there's no more talk now, man. It's to be respected. Before you could say it's a hippie, trippy type of thing, but now you have various universities around the world that have scientific proof to show that these things are safe, that they're helping people with all types of ailments, mental ailments, physical type of issues, So people that have been walking around for years with depression, holding their head low, fear to live their life, waking up sad in the morning, you know what I mean? They finally learn about microdosing, and they take a little mushrooms every day, and they're having a more upbeat attitude about life. They're feeling better. They're having their synapses in their brain and making new connections. You know what I mean? They're seeing the world in a whole new way. How can you hate on that? That's beautiful. You know what I mean? And beyond that, when we talk about superheroes, we already talked about AI. You know what I mean? We already talked about where we're going in the worldview where they want to go. But when we deal with nanobots and all these other things, we understand the capacity of combo and other sacred medicines in the jungle that can help us to be able to combat some of that craziness. You know what I mean? Because some people listen, you have some people that want to live forever and say, I want to go into this transhumanism thing and become a living robot because they're so obsessed with the physical. They want to live forever. You know what I mean? But they don't understand that when they have a real, true spiritual connection and build their macabre, for instance, that they can live forever because they are eternal. We are all eternal if we go back to that essence. You know what I mean? So these are things I'm seeing, y'all. You know what I mean? But this is about something called parallel universes. Right. I come from a stock of enlightened type of figures, real type of niggas. Exit the stage for all the bigots. My thoughts have become endless, so there could be no hindrance. Like Jimi Hendrix wiping down cars with some Windex. Just imagine if he never struck a guitar in a parallel universe where he got struck by a stolen car, by a drunk dude who just left a grimy bar. At the same time, in another reality, he bashed his own guitar, lit it on fire at the Monterey Pop stage because at that moment he died and Jimi Hendrix had to feel his own death rage. Some people get their creativity cut up and caged, like Adolf Hitler at a young age. What if Hitler was nourished and praised for being a talented artist with good grades? Would have Hitler ever taken the front stage of being the leader of the Thule and party of the Nazis? Or would he be a part of the art scene with the paparazzi, where every art piece is crazy costly? What about the young redhead who was clever and bossy, that wore zoot suits and that would fly and flossy? What if Malcolm X never went to prison in the Bean, never was introduced to Islam, so died Detroit Red, the heroin fiend? Just imagine in another parallel universe, Michael Jackson's father didn't stomp out his self-esteem and treated little Mike like an actual child rather than a work machine. In this universe, MJ grew older and still loved his natural features. Self-love became his natural teachers and was able to back off all the leeches. No nose jobs, painkillers, even aspirins. Parallel universes, I'm still asking. What if MF Doom started unmasking and started choking out fake rappers with glass chins? What if Judas, hold on. What if Judas passed with? Nigga took a fart. Right before he was supposed to kiss Jesus on the cheek. The smell offended Isa, so he left and didn't even speak. The Romans didn't catch him. The nigga was fast on his feet. Yeah, we talking about parallel universes. And right now, as I write this rhyme, I'm somewhere else in space and time on an alien planet, studying rock formation, smoking radioactive slime. Parallel universes. We heavy here all day, all time. Woo, woo. We here
You know I had them sound effects ready for
Oh
you.
yeah, you
Ready.
know it, man. I
You was
love the
ready.
joints,
You was
man.
ready.
But thank you, man, for letting me be on the platform here, man. I thank you for everything you're doing, brother. You know, everyone has their own opinions about everyone in this community. I'm
Mm,
all about unity. That's me at the end of the day. I look at the end goal. The end goal is this, that we are one, you know? And God, when I had my first Bufo experience, and the Most High, Great Spirit, whatever we want to call it, said it created itself to know itself, and it knows itself through us. Come on, y'all. When he was saying, listen, I am the homeless man, I am the crack addict, I am the prostitute, I am the scholar, I am the meditator. You know what I mean? I'm all those things. Just like when KRS-One, he was on that one jam, he said that it was so, he was talking about the art or the science of interdependence or everything that's interconnected. He was saying that how could the birth of the prophet be here or the holy man if you didn't have the motherfucking pimp or the fucking low life nigga
mm,
over here?
mm,
We have to have a measuring stick to be
mm,
able to know who I'm going to be. I don't want to be
mm,
that. But I
mm,
could not know how to be that if that wasn't fucking there. You know what I mean? So when you look at Haru's eye, you look at the fucking, you look at the whole picture, and you see where Set's place was at. You know, just like you see Haru's place is at. And they one and the same on two different spectrums of the same coin. Know what I mean? If any of y'all seen that classic movie, that's my joint, Jacob's Ladder. You know what I mean? So much science that movie, but he talking about the bardo. The bardo is the basically the underworld, the doo-wop. You know what I mean? The 42 or whatever days they have after death. But there's a scene in that movie with his friend who's a chiropractor in his real life. He doesn't know he's dead yet,
mm,
or he's going through the death process. He says, these demons or these guys with no face, they keep on running after me.
mm,
You know what I mean? And he was like, he says something of the sort like in the movie, I'm probably rephrasing it, but he was basically, you saying, the angel, he says, those demons are nothing but the angels in disguise. I was like, God damn. I was like, that shit's heavy, nigga. That shit hit me hard, dog. But that's what you look at the whole picture. That's what they talk about as enlightenment. When you understand that everything has its own placement, everything has its own way where it feeds, one feeds off the other, and one grows after the other. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Beautiful, bro. So it's hard to judge sometimes from that spectrum if coming from a place, and not saying that we don't still embrace our human bullshit, because we do. I'm constantly working on myself. And I constantly kick myself in the ass all the fucking time. Like, Dooley, you fucked up again. You know what I mean? But when we look at that singularity experiences, what you're looking at is just yourself in the future. You're just trying to catch up to yourself. You know what I mean? And you going through all these different stages, all these different chapters in your life to get back to your true self. You know what I mean? And you already
Mm-hmm.
had that glimpse.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it. So you can't tell me you ain't there because you've seen it. You know what I mean? So you just
Mm,
catching up to yourself. And that catch up could be one lifetime. It could be 2 million lifetimes.
mm,
You know what I mean? It's up to you.
mm.
You know what I mean? But that's a beautiful thing there, though. You know, so we could, self-empowerment, man. This is, when you look at this from that perspective, it's a beautiful thing. You could put a smile on your face because you just first start from the human level of just self-love, and that's the first stage with the mushroom. You know, many levels with the mushrooms, but you'll start to see the initial stage is when you come down from these experiences, you have so much gratitude for even being alive. You know what I mean? You like, wow, this is beautiful. Facts. I can't take this for granted, my nigga. You know what I mean? You start to love your baby fat. You start to even love the little grays, all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm embracing this whole shit. You know what I mean? because this shit is beautiful. It's an opportunity for God to know itself.
Absolutely. Because like I said,
You
like
know what I
Mudu
mean?
said one time, he said all
Yeah,
these medicines, they want to know themselves through this human experiment. And that's really what it is. This is an
yeah,
experiment that we're having. I brought up something. If you need to get in, if you are interested in coming to Atlanta to have an experience in the Gen room, I just did this interview over on my Instagram page, OE517. This was I think this was Thursday. We were just having a conversation. This is just one corner of the room that we have tributed to um really just having a safe environment, right? And the brother was just interviewing me about some fly topics, and it just really I'm just really happy that I was able to have this conversation, a very frank conversation with the brother Zoza. So please go over to my
nice.
Instagram, peep this. Also, if you're interested in having a ceremony here in Atlanta in the Gen room, shoot me a message on my DM or on my on my Facebook, because you have to fill this out. So there's no PayPal for you to go hit a button. Like if I don't know you and I don't feel that you spiritually mature enough to be up in here,
Right,
then you won't be. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So
Listen,
then, but what I can do is tell you some things that you can do, not books to read, but things you can do personally
right,
to grow
right,
spiritually and have
right,
more spiritual maturity, because that's what you need to be pulling back out. So if you're interested in Atlanta, I know because the sister said she was like I didn't need to find a suitable sitter when I take 5. So
right.
definitely the Gen room is designed for group trips
That's
up to,
beautiful.
up to 3 people, but no more than 3 people. And so when you look at this door right here, this door is on the inside of the room, so that it has its own bathroom, and there's room for 3 people, no more than 3 people. But if you're in there, if it's only one person, and let's say one person says I need to do 9 grams, and nobody else says they're gonna do 9 grams, then they're gonna have the room to themselves. If somebody
Right,
wants to do 5 grams and there's 3 people, like I had a sister fly in from LA. Her friend from Baltimore flew in, and then it was somebody from Alabama. So they never knew each other, but they ended up there the same night, and they all went in on 5 grams.
right.
And right now we're going in on the Tamarian Blue. That's what we're
Okay,
using right now. So, which is a
right,
very exotic strain that Baba Kalendi brought back from Africa. Actually, it was 2 strains, and he put them together, which is the Tamarian Blue. So you can research
very
Penis
good.
Envy, you can research Golden Teacher, you can go on the internet and find all of these things. But when you type in Tamarian Blue, you find nothing, because you have to experience it. You have to
Right,
experience it,
right,
right?
right,
And so yeah, so if you're interested in the Gen room, you just come through here, fill it out, your name, your birthday, email, what's the best time to call, where you are, like is it just for you or maybe somebody else? These are the days that I have available now. I have some dates in May, but if you look up here, it's 59 people that I got to get in contact with. So right now we only have, so February is done. We finished February today. March is already done, except for the 19th I have open. And then April, I only got uh 2 spaces left in April. And that's on the 24th. So I haven't announced anything on May. So if you have already sent this to me and I haven't responded to you, it's all good. Your name is on here. This is my filing system. So if I seen this link, just please fill this out. Make sure you put an answer down here and say, what did I say? Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you want to take this. I should say this ceremony. Let me go ahead and
right.
change that right now, because that's what we were just talking about. Why you want to take this ceremony? That's what it is. Are you taking a ceremony, and
Right,
then also we do have breakfast the next morning. You know what I'm
very good.
saying? One thing that Baba Mudu put me up on was after a mushroom journey, mushrooms use up serotonin, and they
Right,
use up so you need to replenish it with melatonin and serotonin.
right,
So
right,
this is
right.
this was this is us this morning, Dooley. So when you're ready to come to the A, we're gonna take care of it.
Ah,
You know
shit,
what I'm
yo, it's on.
saying? Right.
It's on, bro.
So this
That
is
shit look good.
Oh man, and you see everybody's happy. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
And we sitting there chilling. You spoke about Dr. York. There go his picture right there by
right.
the grits. You know what I mean? So we
That's
got the
real.
strawberries, we got the pineapples, we got grapes, we got grits, we got French toast, salmon
Oh man,
patties.
you getting me hungry now, man. I'm about to head out to the store and grab something. Shit, dog.
Yeah, nobody's
Woo!
this in this environment. So we really,
Oh man,
and the conversation was bomb too. The conversation was crazy bomb. And
nice.
this is before we have um our post integration session, because
Okay,
it's very good, because that's what I was showing over here, like John Hopkins. So John Hopkins is doing research now on psilocybin around smoking, depression,
right,
Alzheimer's disease,
right,
depression, alcohol use,
right.
things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Antidepressants. So we want, but the thing that they don't have, they don't have no black folks. They don't have no
Mm,
black folks, and we always getting left out.
right.
So
Well,
as a
you,
black person, one thing
yeah,
that the key for us trip sitters
right.
is we must start collecting our data. We must
Yes,
start writing things
I
down,
agree. I agree.
because
I agree.
we can't keep relying on the
Yo,
colonizer. The colonizer is never going to
yo,
tell your story fair.
yes.
The
You know,
colonizer,
I'm
he ain't
so
gonna do it.
glad you said that, man. I have a friend of mine that would remind me of that. Like, take notes. Like you see that particular healing that happened. You had a breakthrough with this. Let's document this. So, um, I like, even on the smoking tip, just my own personal testimony. One time I was with on some mushrooms, and I swear to God, like, I had a blunt ready road for me when I was gonna come down.
Mm,
And there was a time during the trip where a voice came to me telepathically. And the voice started saying, like, why are you smoking this? Right.
mm.
And it went down a whole list of the chemicals that were in this blunt and this Fonto or what have you. And I know it wasn't from my mind. Oh, yeah, I couldn't even pronounce the goddamn fucking chemicals, bro. You know what I mean? Special ed like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo. So, bro, the shit that was trippy is that, like, when I came down, bro, I'm trying to smoke the blunt. I'm trying to light it. Yo, it tastes nasty as shit. I'm
Mm,
like, dog, I don't even want to smoke this.
mm,
So, listen, there's a lot of different things to this. That's all I'm saying. It's beautiful to look at from the mystical side, but also look at it from the scientific side as well. I encourage more of our people to look into becoming psychedelic therapists, to go back into school, to learn the ins and out of how the brain works, neuroscience, to see how these things relate to your medicine. So because some of our people, first thing they want to look at the wall. Okay, well, where's the documents? You know what I mean? Where's the diplomas and these other things? And that's all good. But I understand that some of us have our natural gifts, just born with it, because it comes from our lineage. It's like the sister that I was telling you that had the levitation experience. She
mm,
told her mother what happened, bro, when she got home. And her mother's response was like, to this day, I'll never forget. Her mom's was like, girl, don't you know I did that in my early 20s? This running our family. You know what I mean? So, superhero shit, real live, real direct. You know what I mean? And
mhm,
a lot of these things, truth be told, were in secret societies. You know what I mean?
mhm,
We
mhm,
hear a lot about the Freemasons, Illuminati, all this other stuff, but we cannot forget about the black secret societies. And I'm not talking about the Boule. You know what I mean? So this stuff goes deep. Baba Kalendi talked about the Black Panther secret societies. That book I mentioned even earlier, Faces in the Smoke. There's a chapter in there talks about the secret society of flying men in Haiti. You know what I mean? So, bro, you know what I mean? This is like, sometimes you might say this is over your head. I can't believe something like this can ever happen. But we have to understand, a lot of us live in the belly of the beast. And a lot of us have been conditioned, programmed, westernized, and to have a certain way of thinking of how reality supposed to unfold.
This the joint
Um,
right here, Faces in the
Yep,
Smoke.
That's the joint right there. And it's a guy that's an anthropologist that's going around basically interviewing different healers from around the world. He's a filmmaker as well, you know. So there's one chapter in there where it shows this dude actually doing a particular type of surgery without any type of equipment. I mean, it's crazy. And I've seen the actual documentary of him doing it. He goes into meditation and he's pulling out shit. Um,
Boom!
but you see these,
I found the
yeah,
used one for $8.
word,
Boom!
real talk. Check out
Stop,
definitely
stop.
the chapter that they talk about in Haiti there, because in the Caribbean and Haiti, we still hold a lot of the magic. We still hold a lot of the traditions. You know what I mean? There was an elder that I met in Detroit when I first went to Detroit, and she told me about gun magic throughout the
Mm,
Caribbean, and the art of secret talismans that she witnessed with her own two eyes, where she seen one of this Baba who had a certain talisman, and she said the brother told him to start licking off shots, and when he did, not one bullet hit him, and the bullets turned into water. This is what this elder seen in her own eyes. You know what I mean?
mm,
She's seen another person deep into the magic in Nigeria, where her daughter was there, and said that literally seen this dude cut this man's hand, put a certain herb on his hand, slap his hand and rub it, and the cut was gone. You know, um, just an elder sharing certain wisdom with me, things that she's seen over the years in her travels. You know, and just because you don't see these things in your neck of the woods or your backyard doesn't mean these things are not happening.
right.
Like I told y'all before, with the example with the rainbow body technique in Tibet, they have over 200,000 documented cases that people seen. You know what I
Mm,
mean? With their own two eyes. So just because it don't happen in your backyard doesn't mean that it's not happening. You know, and I tell people all the time. When I met this brother named Sheikh Sufi, from Philly, man, and he introduced me to the African avatars, Sheikh Amadou Bamba and Simio Toko, two great masters that we could say that weren't did they live? Were they here? Were they not here? Was this a myth or was it not a myth? Was it symbolic or whatever? No, these people lived and they had pictures of these two individuals. And the amazing things that they did, if we want to talk about superheroes, we can't end the show without talking about those two superheroes right there. You know what I mean? Those are two living superheroes that we say that lived during our time. Simio Toko transitioned in the 1980s,
mm,
and there's various documents of various people that tried to kill this man and try to assassinate him and couldn't kill him. You know what I mean? Same thing with Sheikh Amadou Bamba. Try to poison him, shoot him, all kinds of stuff.
couldn't take him
So
out.
yeah, so these are the things that are made out of myths, but these are the things that really where these stories come from. People who have really dared to take time to get to know themselves. I was fortunate to hear two situations from the elders when I went to the memorial service for Baba Kalendi. One of the elders, I don't know if you remember, he said Baba Kalendi would never get pulled over on the highway. You know what I mean? No matter what speed he was going. You know what I mean? He had a level of a cloaking ability where you didn't see him. Boys in Blue didn't see him. They
Hmm.
said the elders were saying he would go into concerts and with celebrities or whatever, walk right through the security like they didn't see him, you know? And his friends walking right behind him or whatever be right, hey, stop right there. But what was it that Baba Kalindi was he dealing with? Was our elder dealing with some Jedi mind tricks right there? One of the elders at the memorial service said the brother, I don't know if you know this, Oe, but one of the elders said that he got into the Vatican basement.
Mm. Spooked
All
us sat
right.
by the door. Spooked us sat by the
Know what I
door.
mean? He did what we call on the level of bilocation.
Mm,
Our Baba did that. Spent the whole night there studying certain things. I wish, oh my God, I wish before Baba transitioned that we was able to ask him and please, Baba, can you, share your wisdom on what you might have observed in there?
right.
If by all means, please. And the dude teleported right out of the Vatican and start walking around like a tourist, like nothing happened. That's Baba Kalendi. Put
Mm,
respect on the name.
put
You know what I
respect.
mean?
Absolutely.
Facts.
Just mine. Yeah, yeah. Hey, so we're gonna get ready to get up out of here. I do gotta make a couple
Yo.
of people. I want to respond to a couple of the comments.
Yeah.
Uh Somebody says I do them outside sitting in the sun. We don't recommend that at high doses. If you outside with 1 gram or 2 grams, then that's fine. Mushrooms grow in the dark. They don't grow in direct sunlight. So
Well, well,
that's
this is how I look at it sometimes too, always like this. We could go with tradition and it's good, but if your higher self tell you certain things, go with it. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I'm gonna go with yeah, but
But
the
just
high
make sure you're safe.
yeah, but it's
So
not. Hold on,
it's
hold on
so
though. Hold on,
can I
hold
just
on.
say one thing real quick about that? Because one time I had very deep experiences with the
That's
mushrooms.
you. That's you. That's you. That's you. That's you. That's you. These is
Yeah,
these average
okay,
niggas. These
okay,
average
all
niggas
right,
is
let's go,
talking. I'm
all
not talking about you. I'm not
right.
talking about you. We're talking about
Okay,
average,
okay,
average
okay,
ass,
okay,
scared people.
okay, all
Average
right,
scared
all
people
right,
don't get to give advice if you haven't done high
right. If you
doses.
haven't done it, yeah,
Then be
I definitely
quiet.
agree.
Then be
I
quiet.
definitely
Don't be
agree.
telling other people
Yeah,
that this.
I definitely say stay in your spot, in your
Listen,
spot
listen,
first,
listen.
and
Hold
vibe
on,
with you
hold on.
first. Yeah, my fault, Gum. Yeah,
Some people fear is their higher self. So you can't
right,
tell them that. You can't just say, listen to your higher self. They ain't never heard their higher self.
right,
All
right,
they've heard
right,
is fear. So
right,
fear said, I'm gonna do a lower dose in the daytime so I can build up
right.
tolerance. You're not here to
I
build up
totally agree.
tolerance.
I totally agree. If I'm thinking I'm the person who has asked the question was a seasoned vet. But
No,
if you're
no,
not a
no,
seasoned vet, I
no.
totally agree with Owe. Take your time. You know what I mean? And especially being outside, you don't want to do that. You want to again be in a place where you feel comfortable,
Yeah,
and safe, so you could do the work.
that's
All
Woodstock.
right,
That's
but
Woodstock. There's no work
yeah,
in the
but
sun. Your mama's
also
your mama didn't have you in the sun. Okay, you didn't come out of triple stage lightness. You came out of triple stage darkness. Baba Kalendi, who we talking about, said, "Go into the darkness so my eyes can adjust to the dark, so I can
right,
see." Your eyes
right.
can't adjust in the dark. Your
No,
eyes cannot adjust in the
now,
dark if you in the
now,
sunlight. If you're in the
Now
sunlight,
there's certain things that you could do with the sun, but
Baba, Baba,
that's
Baba,
for
listen,
another
Dooley,
conversation.
Dooley, Dooley, don't
That's
do that.
for the
Don't
and
do
that's
that.
for
Don't
me.
do
That's
that.
just certain things
Dooley,
I
Dooley, Dooley,
experience. So yeah,
Dooley. You are
yeah.
confusing. There's no advanced people listening to us tonight.
Okay, all right.
It's more
But
beginners
just
in
cut
the
that
room.
one then. It's all
Yeah,
good.
don't do
It's
that.
all
Don't do
good. It's
that.
all
Start
good.
telling people they don't meditate. They ain't got no
Right,
altar. They
right, right,
abuse this stuff, and now you want to mention and tell them something that because you've been doing this since your daddy had you on your lap. These
right,
people have a whole bunch of dysfunction that they have to get through first. They can't
right.
just be like, I just want to go do what Dooley do. That's
No,
impossible.
I'm not saying that. But I do want to understand with people that if there are certain things that you have to when you start to get your foot wet, and there's certain things that tell you intuitively that there's a certain ritual that I must do or whatever, because certain times that's where, especially the mushrooms, like there's other teaching plants and different things that are ceremonial, or it might needs a real sitter or someone to guide you. But the beautiful thing about mushrooms is that it's a more independent, more sovereign type of medicine. You know what I mean? Because you're looking at it from a perspective of like, first of all, masculine and feminine, right? And then, as Barbara would tell us all the time, you're supposed to be sitting down with this medicine by yourself anyway, going into the darkness, like Owe said, and going into that place where you would normally not go. But if there are times where, say, for instance, a person is microdosing or they're coming and they're inspired to do some sun gazing, and I've seen certain codes come out to sun at that time, it was a beautiful experience. But start off slow and start where you're comfortable at. You know what I mean? And don't put any limitations to yourself either. You know what I mean? Because we're constantly evolving. That's something as well. I've known that for the babies. They're coming in with different codes. So some of the things that we normally wouldn't do or couldn't do, they're coming back with certain knowledge where they're taking it, they're pushing the envelope.
Yes,
and they're
but
doing certain things that need to get us into alignment as well. So, but take your time as well. And the last thing I would like to say real quick, Obi, is this. For all those naysayers out there that say, well, why do you need to take something outside yourself anyway? Right? Well, you don't. You know, we know that there's darkroom therapy. You know what I mean? In Tibet, that's a big thing they would do all the time. You know, where they would do alone retreats, sitting in a cave, 21 days and beyond. And the natural DMT would come on. But let's face it, most people aren't going to sit down and do that. They don't have the patience, and most people don't have the discipline. But also at the same time with the naysayers, yes, we can have it come naturally through breathing, darkroom therapy, and all those things. But the mushrooms and other teaching plants and fungi are going to take you to uncomfortable places normally you wouldn't do with your deep breathing, or normally you wouldn't do with your darkroom therapy, because you could leave the cave anytime you want. But when you're on the journey, there's no getting off of it. Okay? So that's the difference there. Because sometimes people want to bag it in all into one big bag and say, well, you could just do it without what's the point? You don't need to do it if a person doesn't need anything outside themselves to know themselves. And it's true. We come into this world in a psychedelic experience. Your mother is secreting high levels of DMT, bringing you into this world. And guess what? You're going to leave this world dying, secreting high levels of DMT. So living is even a psychedelic experience, but it's how much DMT you're releasing. It's how much psychoactive compound you're actually tapping into. Okay? That's the difference.
Dooley is having a 8th grade conversation with y'all. A lot of y'all are not even in kindergarten yet. Let me be clear, okay? He ain't even hit none of the high level stuff. To some of you,
Right.
like, oh my God.
I didn't get there yet.
But the reason I'm telling people protocol and is because all babies learn to walk the same.
That's right.
You have to hold their hands. You put your hands in their hands, and their little fingers is up there. And you can't talk to this baby like it's 4 when this baby is 8 months. The baby's muscles and skeletal system and his central nervous channel and his vagus nerve is not intact enough for him or her to be walking. And when you're on a spiritual journey, unlocking your superhero activation, it's better to do it the way we're telling you with protocol, so you can have these moments of discovery versus trying to do.
There's a blueprint for you.
Yes, but
that's the beautiful thing.
You know, when you flip the blueprint, it shows you how childish you are.
Right.
It shows you how spiritually immature you are.
And no, I'm saying in regard to what Baba brought us.
We're not talking about you, Dooley. We ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the people that are listening, that have these questions over here. You're not looking at all the questions that I have that I'm answering. So it's a lot of questions people are asking that I'm trying to address.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I had to bring it out for the heavy hitters, because I don't really get on these platforms that much, and there's some people out there that's hungry. So I had to come out like boom out the gate. This is what we're doing. And now that we got all out the heavy hitter shit, we could go back to basics. That's easy, you know. And if we need to go there, let's go there. If anyone has any specific questions, let's bring it there.
Listen. It's not the questions, Dooley.
Okay.
They have false assumptions.
Okay, what's the false assumptions here? Let's go at it.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you, slow down. The heavy
Okay.
hitting stuff, the heavy hitting stuff, if you give them that and then you don't uh steer them away from their false assumptions, they're gonna try to mix their false assumptions with them assuming they know what you're talking about, and they
Okay.
don't. You
Okay.
can have this conversation with me
No
because I know
doubt.
what you're talking about. But the
Right.
people that are listening, we have to break it, we have to back up some
Okay.
and
Now,
say to
well,
help
the
to help
what's
to help to help them get on their feet.
right. All right.
You're
Well,
having a
what?
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, I'm
Well,
explaining. Just wait.
yeah.
You're having a conversation of somebody who knows how to walk, and you're
Right.
encouraging them to jog and then run.
Right.
There's some people in here that can't even stand up yet.
Right. Got you. I understand. Yeah.
Right. So
I totally understand. Yeah.
we've had conversations about them, and then they're like, so somebody made a comment and said, um
Well, first thing I could say to people, which could start people off the grip.
hold on. This I'm gonna post something. You gonna
Okay.
look on the
Got you.
screen. Just look on the
Got you.
screen.
Got you. Okay. Got you.
So are you saying you have to have an altar to do high doses? Hell no, we didn't say
No.
that.
No. No one
So
said that.
this is what I'm saying. We have to
Yeah.
slow down
Well,
because
these are like when you can do those things. I mean, it's like there's no like if you're called to say like this makes you feel comfortable and say I need an altar in front of me, so that's going to make me go in deeper within myself. By all means, but
no,
they
no,
but for anyone that's starting off, if we want to start with basics, first thing that even always said that made a hell of a lot of sense is learn to meditate, learn to breathe. That's basics. Because when you start to do that, first of all, you're learning how to still your mind. First of all, you're learning how to relax. You know what I mean? And all these people that are coming in with the anxiety, their fears, and all these other things, that can help them hell of a lot more when they have some of that background practice along the lines of meditation, breathing, and things. It's grounding. You know, there's moments where you might feel like you're um very expansive in your experience, and it might be too much for you at the time. But learning how to breathe and having background knowledge in breathing, you can learn how to ground yourself and learn how to bring yourself back into your body.
as
You
the
know what I
sister
mean?
just said right here, I do not know how to relax.
Yeah. Well,
So
there's
this
different
so
ways that
hold on. We
I
just have,
always could teach. You know what I mean?
but this
Definitely.
is but she speaks for a large part of the population
Right.
because a large part of the population only wants shortcuts.
Right.
You know
Right.
how
I
many
get it.
people, you know how many people I run into that was like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and start off at 20 grams.
Right. Right.
Excuse
It's
me, what the
crazy.
fuck you doing?
Right. Right.
It's not,
Crazy.
oh well, I want to be like so and so. That's
Right.
the,
Nah.
the worst thing you can do on thinking you can activate your superhero powers is to try to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
One of the problems we have, even in our own circles, is people trying to be Baba Kalendi. You
No,
can't
that's
try to be,
he's in the whole league itself, man.
you can't
And
be, you
he had
can't be,
his own path. Each of
and
us have our own path and our own blueprint. You know what I mean?
don't
One thing, if
compare.
anything, I'll keep it really simple. I'm gonna keep it a buck, yo. I'm gonna keep it real simple, bro. You know what I mean? If people want to learn about this psychedelic etherton stuff, learn how to feel. I know we're living in a society where we're behind a computer, we're texting, we're doing this, we have so many distractions that we don't know how to relax. Well, the first thing you have to do is turn off all those things so you can be able to be still. All right? There's many ways you could do it. Sometimes it could be relaxing music. Sometimes it could be breathing. Sometimes it could be taking a walk around the block. Sometimes it's even holding a loved one's hand to make you relax. But you have to tap into that. That's the first thing. So you could start to learn how to not be fearful to look inside. And of course it's fearful. Who wants to look at their trauma? You
Hmm.
be out of your fucking crazy mind and say, "Oh
Mhm.
yes, I today I want to look at some shit that I got traumatized by 20 years ago." Who wants to do that? I get it.
Me, I
You know
do.
what I mean? But
I
I
do.
tell you, I mean, me too. But it's a few of us out there, and there's more happening. But that's, when we look at that, we have to understand when a person says like, yo, I've been in psychotherapy for 10, 15 years, sitting with a therapist saying the same type of thing over and over, rehashing this trauma that I had when I was 2 years old. When you go for ayahuasca or a mushroom journey and you were able to deal with certain things that you was able to really look at and really embrace, and then really let go and really cry and really stomp your feet and really throw up and say, yo, I don't have to hold this anymore. You know what I mean? I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy to be able to live my life in a comfortable way. You know what I mean? That's how deep this work is. You go so deep into yourself, and you have epiphanies to say to yourself that I'm worthy of this.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But you can't do that if you don't know how to first be able to just be with yourself. And I'm talking from experience. There's many times that I always want to call somebody up sometimes because I had to look at my abandoned issues. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? My mom was considered schizophrenic, so I didn't live with my mom. So there was plenty of times where I was attracting the same partner, same woman, different face, same energy. Because I was looking, okay, there was a part of me that was just looking for comfort, man. I had a level of nurturing because I didn't have that growing up. But I had to see that and find that in the medicine, and also doing qigong and tai chi and other things that open those doors for me to look at myself and say, listen, there's some things I got to look at, Dooley.
Yep.
And of course, some of us don't want to look at ourselves, man. But that's where the community comes in sometimes too. You have support, man. That's the
Mm.
beauty of ceremony. The
Mm.
beauty of ceremony is that you have people. Do you know how many ceremonies I've been in, retreats that I've held, different things where at the end of the ceremony, people become so close to each other. At the end of that weekend or whatever, they're crying on each other's shoulder. They're saying, man, I love you, man. You
Mm.
helped me get through this shit that I've been harboring or holding on for years. And you gave me the support to be able to be vulnerable in that moment. Because key word, vulnerability. We come from communities where we have to be tough all the time. I'm gonna put the armor on. And I
Mm.
understand the armor. The armor sometimes is for our own fucking protection. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. The first time I got jumped was when I was 11 years old. I ain't know nothing about that gang shit. I'm just going to fucking after school program.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma put a Raiders Scully hat on my head. Next thing I know, I'm getting fucked up, nigga. Running for
Mm.
my fucking life, nigga. Like, what the fuck? You down with Raiders? What the fuck? What's that? You know? So we have to understand there's all kind of trauma, not even from this life, but even several lifetimes. The mushroom has blessed me to even see some of my other lifetimes. So we have a lot of work to do, my friends. And never ever feel like, oh, I got it all. I got it. I I run away when I start seeing niggas talk like that.
Mm.
I look the
Mm.
opposite direction, bro.
Mm. Mm.
We're all unpeeling. We're all unraveling. We're all being able to heal in certain ways and having downloads and having gifts coming back to us. You know, support each other. There's too much hating in this community. I've been in this shit since day one, y'all, and I seen where it went. I seen the golden age of the conscious community. where the elders were about their business, were about their study, about their life, about their initiations, about their travel, about doing their work, to a place where it becomes fashionable. It's a fad all of a sudden. I could wear the kufi, or I could put the ankh on, or I could say this or that, and I'm in the pocket right now. No, man, that's showmanship. Real work comes deep within, digging deep within. And I know it sounds cliche. I know you heard it before from other people, and I'm another person to remind you again. Because that's where the real work comes in. And it's not pretty, and it's not fucking comfortable, and it's scary as fuck. But it's worth it. The reward at the end, the freedom, the level of shedding away the bullshit that does not serve you anymore. How fucking beautiful is that? You're fucking, when you want to talk about light as a feather, when you want to talk about being able to walk like you're light as a feather with no worries, no anxieties, not trying to impress someone or be impressed. Yes, I could show my shit because I'm not fucking perfect. Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's freedom.
Yeah, you got to grow. Everything that you're looking for is outside of y'all's comfort zone. That's really our bottom line. If you want your superhero powers to activate, you're going to have to stop looking for shortcuts. You're going to have to show some spiritual maturity. You're going to have to learn to be comfortable when you get uncomfortable. You're going to have to stop running, and you're going to have to start making excuses. You're going to have to start comparing, stop comparing, and you're going to have to stop pontificating. Stop talking about it all the time and get in and do the actual work. Me and Dooley are so passionate because of the actual work. We're not we're not asking for donations here tonight.
Hell no. Fuck all that shit.
We're not selling anything this evening, but we're trying to sell you on stop being a sucker. Stop making excuses. Stop believing what other people told you about yourself, and then you started repeating it. That's a big problem. You got to walk your path. You can't be me. You can't be Dooley. You can't be Acacia. You can't be Firewater. You can't be Baba Kalendi. You can't be Sunyata. You can't be Amso. You can only be you, and that's what everybody's afraid of. And that's what that's what the superhero is, you fool.
That's right.
The superhero is you. And you're gonna have to go in there. You're gonna have to go in there and wake up. That's what they talking about, the lion's grip and pulling out the muck and mire. You're pulling yourself out. Malachi York said the helping hand you're looking for is at the end of your own arm.
Right.
In the degrees in the supreme mathematics and alphabet, only self can save self.
Right.
Last night we were supposed to have 3 people come, Dooley. Now I'm gonna tell a story. We're supposed to have 3 because the room can hold up to 3 people. So so 2 people was like, "Yo, we're gonna be there." Blah blah blah. So I called the third sister. I said, "Hey, is you coming this evening?" She say, "Well, I couldn't find nobody to come with me." I said, "What do you need somebody to come with you for?" I'm sitting. She was like, "Well, the person I wanted to come was gonna make me feel more comfortable."
Right.
I was like, "You're not ready for this then, because this ain't a party. This hold on.
Yeah.
When you come here, you come alone, and then you meet yourself because it's 2 other people here. They're here to meet themselves too, so you can have fellowship with somebody that's going outside their comfort zone.
Right.
I don't want to I try to make it comfortable externally, but internally, it's only going to happen on the next day when breakfast comes and you be like, man, I took them 5 grams, man. Look at me, man. It didn't kill me. It was wild, but now I know what I need to do. My superpower
Right, right,
activated. Blah 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 blah. So
right,
this is what I'm talking about. The journey in between the ceremonies. A lot of y'all asking all these questions, but you're not asking how to get prepared. How do you
right.
get prepared?
Very
Start
key.
telling the truth. The
Right,
sister says she can't relax. Well, then what makes you stressed? Go get some
right.
therapy. Some of you need to go to therapy before you do ceremony.
Hmm. Right.
You can't just be like this whole, oh, I'm so revolutionary. I don't need no white or black therapist. I don't need no psychologist. I just need the
Nah,
medicine. That's some bullshit. That's some
nah, nah,
bullshit.
nah. It's balance. Life is about
That don't
balance,
work
yo.
for everybody. That
You
don't
know what
work
I
for
mean?
everybody. And for somebody to tell you that that you don't need therapy is even more bullshit. These people are trained professionals. They're trained
Yo,
professionals. So
if you're a person that wants to help yourself, why limit yourself to anything? You know what I mean? At least give it a try. And if it ain't your cup of tea, keep it moving. You know what I mean? But at least I'm one of them people that like listen. If a person is thirsty for their own healing, they're gonna search, and that search might lead them to therapy, might lead them to other things. You know what I mean? And you can benefit from all those things. You know what I mean? I've sat down with therapists before. Best believe, man. My father was did community therapy and stuff. Was into all those things when in the 80s. You know what I mean? So it's like it's important, man, just in general, man, to look at yourself. At the end of the day, this is just a conversation that me and Owie is talking about learning to look at yourself, man. This is a story about you. And there's no rush to it. Just like Owie is saying, like just because Kalendi said that he does this many grams, or this is not a beating on your chest competition type of thing, you know? This is about you being authentic with yourself and knowing what you can handle. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't even know what you can handle. And that's why that's why it's important to seek out people who are professionals and who can be able to guide you in certain ways and say, hey, I've sat with thousands and hundreds of people. You know, I could look at your aura and tell that you might need more work in other areas before you come and try this medicine or what have you. You see?
and
So these things are important, man. These medicines are not for everyone. Just gonna tell you that. You know, and furthermore, these things used to be for the initiates, truth be told. And
mm,
that's what even Baba was showing us in the sacred architecture. You know what I mean? In the architecture, they were showing you that these were things that were passed down to very advanced students. You know what I mean? With I don't care if you was dealing with the martial arts system or the spiritual system, what have you. You know what I mean? So these things that we have to remember very much so take your time. This is not a beating on your chest type of thing. And we also have to understand too that when it comes to dosages, man, I've taken high dosage and had amazing experiences. Now I also had amazing experiences microdosing as well, which brought me to very advanced downloads and different things. So we can't just say like this is the way it's out laid out because this is how this one did it, you know. There's definitely different foundations that the elders have taught us, like Baba Kalendi, how we can approach it to have a better experience or get more out of it and take it from there. You know what I mean? But start off slow. If this is a new thing for you, again, this is no rush for you. You know, I know it might feel like this is urgent. This might be the popular thing that you're hearing in the community or what have you, but look into your medicines, see which ones, research it, know the ins and outs about it, research the person that's holding space for you. Certain medicines, like we said tonight, have different signatures. Some of them deal with certain things, like iboga, for instance, dealing with the B-tweet tradition. That strictly could deal with the level of addiction, you know. And when I first learned about that medicine, was through a book called Supernatural by Graham Hancock, and he was talking about how stating that it's a time travel medicine. And when I finally got a chance to sit with the medicine, It was amazing. You know what I mean? So, and it's not just for addiction, because I wasn't dealing with any addictions or anything like that myself, but it's also for other things, such as ancestral connection and other things as well. But for those who are dealing with these, the person addicted, family member, or what have you, there's things out there that could even deal with that. You know what I mean? So yeah, they all have their different signature to
Acacia asked me,
them.
have I used the room yet? And how was it? So one thing all my teachers, not just Baba Kalendi, because before I met Baba Kalendi, I met Malachi York. I'm from Missouri, the show me state. So I would never build something or have something that I would offer to somebody else. That's like Dooley telling me, I should try Toad and he ain't tried it. I'm gonna be like, Dooley, well, what's it like? And he gonna be like, well, I heard it was. I'm gonna be like, I don't want to hear that. Talking about what you heard. So yes, like I went first. Like to construct the room and to get it to where it's at right now was definitely a labor. You know what I'm saying? It was a labor of love to get it to where it's at right now. Like it didn't look the way I didn't move. I didn't move in, and the room was just like, ding, look at here. It's like that. No, the room had to go through a metamorphosis. It had to go through changes, just like me watching the room grow. And then who you think I was gonna let? You think I was gonna let Dooley go first? You think I was gonna let Mama Ayana go first? You think I ain't gonna let nobody go first? It's me. I went first. You know what I'm saying? And my
I love
experience.
the artwork in there, by the way.
Oh
It's
man,
dope.
is the artwork is just you can't even really get the artwork until you and then you feel the
Right.
artwork. It's living
Yeah.
artwork. They really, really Dooley between me and you, it's not artwork. It's
Mhm.
portals.
Right.
It's
Right.
actual portals. Once you do get it high enough piece, these don't start moving around and you can come in there. So oh, he getting right. Ooh, he getting right. He getting fired up. Ooh. Yiggy, 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 yiggy. Now, how was it? I was snapping my fingers much like that too. I had I just I'm gonna just say Baba Kalindi has said one thing that's important is finding finding your spiritual house. Finding your spiritual house so you'll know what house you belong to. And that's really hopefully what I can sit back and share for people. But you have to go through a lot of work before you find your spiritual house and before your dragon shows up and says hi. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that you have to that you got to overcome and get past. So yeah, have I used the room? Absolutely. How was it? But it's not just have you used the room on a dose yourself. When you sit for a person in a sacred space, you are also using their room. You are also communing with that person's. You are a part of that. The sister that's administering the hape to Dooley right now, she's still getting the benefit from that. She's still a part of his ceremony, right? Even though it, it came to him and he was the receiver, there was somebody on the other end. She learned something too, as well, just now. Even if that's her 55th time
Right.
giving him hape, she
Right.
still learns some each time. So
Right.
yeah,
Real talk.
there's none of these positions that we take lightly. And
Right.
with this decrim nature movement that's coming across the country, which is really big, and we want it to benefit our people of color, right? How long have you
Mhm.
seen a white Superman, a white Wonder Woman, a white Flash, a white Batman? Like, well, what about your superhero activation? You already got it. Now it's time for us. We can now talk about it and come out from up under the surface and have these real conversations with people. So y'all can ask us questions. Okay. So that's what we hear. That's what we got going over here. So we definitely she says can y'all please talk about finding your house even if you do it on another live? No, we're not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna show you where to go find it. This is what you do. It ain't because
Right.
it's better for you to go over here, type in Kalendi EE spiritual houses,
Hmm.
and look at there. It's the very top: sex, relationships, tantra, and the importance of spiritual houses. This was this episode 6. This episode 6 right here. So all you gotta do is just type this in: sex, relationships, tantra, and the importance of spiritual houses with Baba Kalendi. Matter of fact, I'm gonna copy it, drop it down here in the chat for you. Super powerful episode. Super powerful. Super powerful. So we're gonna let Baba talk to you and tell it to you firsthand. So I think that's it for tonight. Somebody said was supposed to start my 5 last week, but my sister had an emergency, and this week my mom is in the hospital, so both set and setting have been disrupted. I had to chill and wait, even though I'm eager to start. That's good, but it just might not be your time yet. The time is gonna be right if it's okay. And if you're in the UK, we really appreciate you because that means it's like 4 something in the morning, and you up here hanging with me and Dooley. So we definitely appreciate that. Yes, Tanae says you can't run from you. And Acacia says she over there getting some hoppe over there as well at the same time.
What up, Acacia? Yay! There
And
she is.
she said we will talk about it in class too. So Acacia also has a class. She has a lot of
Yes.
students that are in her class. You
Yes.
know, it's ridiculously affordable. Like it should be, I think, 10,000 people in there for what she
For
charging.
real. For real. Um,
You absolutely can get that for me for the price that she's giving it to you. So I would just tell you, just
listen,
go on over
Acacia is so gracious with her knowledge and wisdom. I mean, I've never taken a herbal class, psychedelic. I don't even know what to call it class with her in
there.
my life on the magnitude that she dropped. So please, 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 especially if you're one of those people starting off, getting want to get more in depth about the teaching plants and fungi and the ins and outs on it, I highly recommend her. This sister, definitely, you know, very good sister.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, we already gave y'all Dooley's Facebook. Y'all got my Instagram. If y'all need to get in contact with us, we appreciate it. Just like we love you like cook food. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you'd like to stay in contact with and get on the email list, please come over to the KINetwork.com. Welcome to the KI Kalendi EE Network. Get immediate and up-to-date details for the conference, but you also will be getting up-to-date details about what the KI Network is doing. Please enter your first name, your email, and your phone number. Just hit submit. We'll take care of you. There's also a psychedelic conference coming in Oakland. Dooley
Wow,
will probably be
nice.
speaking on that. I
Oh
just got
yeah,
the
definitely.
phone with a sister in Minneapolis. She's got something in August the 14th. You'll be speaking on that. I also am having something in Atlanta, and I'm trying to work on getting something in Jamaica this year as
Nice,
well. So
nice.
so it's going
Good
to be
work.
a busy 2021. Go back and check out the speakers that were at the
Definitely heavy hitters,
more
heavy hitters,
nothing but straight assassins. It
heavy hitters. Yeah.
was just every which way you turn, boom, there we go right there.
There
You know
he is.
what I'm saying? It was just all over the place. And also when you get to the schedule, it will tell you what their topics were, right? So then
Right.
you can go through here and just be like, wait a minute. Mama Yana talked about psychedelics, witchcraft, and death. Spirit
Right.
Traveler talked about sacred medicine and ceremony equals blessings and abundance. O Ye Son did astrology, entheogens, magic, mental health. What's
They
your
were going in.
strategy? Larry was going in entheogenic integration. What's in a word? A review of terminology in a field of ineffability. Come on, man.
Woo! They were
Brother
going in.
Amari was entheogens, ethnicity, and enterprise. And all of it was happening at the same time. All this was happening at 5. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes going on at one time. So all of it was recorded though, and we are working on getting it on video so the entire world can have this. Just get that whole review. Please check
That
it
was
out.
monumental right there. That was legendary.
Yeah.
If y'all wasn't there, you definitely gotta check it out.
Well,
Check the
this thing do
recording.
I would say come to Oakland and catch that one. We're gonna try to pull it off
Definitely,
over there
definitely.
and being
And big up to all the urban shamans, hood shamans throughout the globe. I see y'all keep up the good work. You know what I mean? Tell us, you know what I mean? All the cats out there, sincere, everybody that's doing their thing. Big up to all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Chief,
all your
Chief
urban
Black
shop.
Talk, all them out there. You know what I mean? Big up to all of them, man. Y'all know who y'all are, man. And if I didn't name everyone, man, forgive me, man. I was microdosing myself today. So, you know what I mean? So we out there, we doing our thing though. You
All
know?
right, fam. We're gonna holler at y'all. Dooley, give them on 3. We're gonna give them the peace. 1, 2,
Yo,
3.
peace. Yo,
Peace.
give thanks, y'all. You know what I mean?
1.
1.